Zurich Airport calling for Racing Unleashed Season 2023 Beyond the Pinnacle. Today we are racing on the famous roller coaster in the Ardennes in Spa-Francorchamps. Ladies and gentlemen, start your simulators. Get ready for racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. They make contact. Right into the gravel. So what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. They've gone deep. Oh, little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And a very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Racing Unleashed, where we go beyond the pinnacle here in 2023. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, and bringing you all the action from Challenge 8 here at Spa-Francorchamps. And what a track it is, what a layout this circuit is. What a dramatic day we could have for all the drivers. Plenty on stake today for the championship leader, Michael Smeedle. He can get within touching distance of his championship today to retain his crown in the Racer League. It is the Racer League boys out there. 19 drivers will be taken to the track a little later on in the knockout session and in the race. They'll be in gear up at the moment. But we do have some Instagram stories and posts that we saw yesterday from our lounges in Munich and Kemptthal. It was great atmosphere throughout, as well as in Madrid. It is race day, as you can see, and there is the briefing for all the drivers that they will be able to see. And here, making sure they get everything absolutely right for the race itself later on today, as well as a few briefings in Munich and Kemptthal. Everything that we have to do. There is the podium for Marcus Valverde yesterday, and a great atmosphere in the podium for Marcus Valverde. It was great to see him in second place and on that second step of the podium. Can they make it the top step today in Madrid in their new racing lounge? They've had a few podiums in recent weeks. They'll be looking to take the top step and will be looking to take the race win in this one as well. There we have our production team upstairs working hard. We see there behind the scenes footage of yesterday's action, as well as in Munich, where the brilliant shots that we got to see on our, if you follow our Instagram pages, obviously the Madrid, the Munich and the Racing Unleashed official page. It was fantastic to see some brilliant shots of the drivers. A bit of food on offer as well. Tyler Klaus was happy with his P3 after he got promoted to the podium. And there we have Yannick Pletcher and others through the Kemptthal lounge as well. It's great to see. If you don't follow us on our social media, make sure you go and check out all lounges, whether it's the Munich or Madrid Racing Unleashed lounge and the Kemptthal lounge, as well as the Racing Unleashed official on Instagram, Twitter, and all platforms on social media. The Racer League, though, results from last time out at Catalonia. It was Jan Teufel who took the race win in dramatic fashion at the end of penalty for Wojciech Polesny, demoted him from the race win all the way down to P7. It was Jan Teufel and Sinan de Murbas, best result of the season for him, as second place, with Enrique Marignon rounding out the podiums. Angelo Mikel, Sebastian Hirsch and Smeedle all promoted up to 4th, 5th and 6th, with Polesny dropping down to 7th. Ciro Zamora back on the podium, in the points in P8, with Florian Haas at P9, Ivan Kaufman P10, Kevin Aby, David C, Loris Mistretta all outside the points, and the big one was Alejandro Sanchez dropping out the points and finishing down in 14th, meaning that for the standings, it is big news. Smeedle, Sanchez, Mikel all stay the same. They are the final three that can win this championship. Everybody else will, after today, be mathematically out of the running. For Mikel, he's got a slim chance of getting this championship. For Sanchez, he also needs a miracle. Marignon, though, moved up to 4th with Hirsch in 5th. Florian Haas dropped down to 6th place. Polesny stayed 7th. Sinan de Murbas moved up to 8th with his great second place. Christoph Holstein and David Seed moved down to 9th and 10th, rounding out the top 10 in the championship. And as we said, obviously big points at stake today for Sanchez and for Angelo Mikel. Ciro Zambra went down to 11th place with Jan Teufel moving up to 12th with that fantastic race win you saw there as well. We got Alvaro Aznar, Mark Gasner, Loris Mistretta, Javier Loro, Dominic Dedic and Devin Eastgrove dropping down, and Ivan Kuffman gaining onto the championship standing points with the last driver to earn a point. The penalty roster, though, for the drivers looks like this. There is one driver on a KO ban, that is Alvaro Aznar, but he's not here today to serve his KO ban. Apart from that, Wojciech Paleźny and Mark Gasner on the cusp of a KO ban. For Paleźny, he's on the cusp of a weekend ban. Kevin Abey, Christoph Holstein, Javier Loro, Alejandro Sanchez, 8 points apiece for them, and then 5 and 3 for the rest of the field who have penalty points. In terms of the championship then, and in terms of the points we're talking about, it is huge day for Schmiedl today, because if he takes 18 or more points over Angelo Mikel, he will win. He will eliminate Mikel from the standings. The prize money, which he's playing for, is this one here, closest to my right shoulder. It's $3,500 for a win, $2,500 for second, $1,500 for a podium. That goes all the way down to $200 if you finish inside the top 10. For the championship for the season, this is the one that all the drivers want, and at the minute Michael Schmiedl leads $15,000 in his back pocket, in his bank account, if he wins the championship. $9,000 for second, $6,000 for third, all the way down to $750 if you finish inside that top 10. And again, if he outscores Angelo Mikel by 18 or more points, and if he wins the race and Sanchez does not score a single point, that will give Michael Schmiedl 50 points over Alejandro Sanchez, and will be 50 points up for grabs. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic to keep our eyes on and watch. The man to watch, though, is a man from last time out who took his best result of the season. He's been due a good one, we said last time out. It's Sinan Demirbas.
Mein Name ist Sinan Demirbas, ich bin 24 Jahre alt und aus München und trete dieses Jahr als Race Elite-Fahrer bei Racing Unleashed an.
Sinan Demirbas, the top Munich driver. Demirbas has got past Kevin Abey and is sitting on the podium in a minute. So Sinan using his last push to pass to get himself up onto the podium. That was a fantastic race. Look at the smile on Sinan Demirbas' face. Absolutely ecstatic with that. He's been due a good result and gets one today. Absolutely fantastic.
Nach dem letzten Ergebnis natürlich ist das Gefühl sehr gut und das Selbstbewusstsein hoch. Und jetzt muss man dranbleiben.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it was a fantastic result for Sinan Demirbas last time out. A P2 at Catalunya really catapults him up in this championship standings. He'll be having to come in the knockout session from P12, so has a chance now to sort of be at the back part of the field and has to work his way through in the knockout qualifying session coming up later on. But due a good result all season. He got promoted with David Seed and Ciro Zambra from the Challenger League last year into the Racer League, and it has took his time to find his feet. He's been involved in a few incidents throughout the season, caught up in a few dramas as well, but it's nice to see Sinan finally get his hard work paid off and get a good P2 and a good podium for him, as well as the fact that we found out they aren't sim racing gloves or real racing gloves, they are gardening gloves he races in the cockpit with. So if you fancy going in the shed and digging out your gardening gloves, you never know, you might be as quick as Sinan Demirbas on your sim rigs and simulators at home. Could be the secret treasure to unlocking some extra couple of tenths when you're racing. But yeah, great result for Sinan Demirbas last time out. Really did have a good race at Catalunya. Obviously was originally P3, promoted to P2 with a penalty to Paleźny, but a good race all round for Sinan. He is our man to watch, and here he is currently coming into the bus stop chicane at the very end of the circuit. He's with the gardening gloves once again there on. Hopefully, I'm surprised they've not took pride of place on his shelf with his trophy. He's just actually gone on to the timing board into 9th place, 9 tenths off the fastest time of Alejandro Sanchez. He'll be working very hard and tirelessly to make sure he's in the right rhythm and in a good routine ready for this race coming up in a few moments' time. It's all about preparation in Gear Up, and it's all about getting that comfortable feel in the cockpit, the comfortable feel in the seat as well. The winner, though, of the last race, Michael Schmiedl, Jan Teufel, apologies. Let's take a look at a little clip we did with him in the previous weeks. And P1, Jan Teufel then going for the race win. Paleźny within 3 attempts. He uses push to pass now. Teufel does not. He does now. He activates it longer down the straight. It's the final lap of the race. Teufel will have push to pass a little more than Paleźny. Paleźny's going to go around the outside. Or as they stall the last lap, Paleźny leads this race. They touch. Paleźny goes off. Race control will be looking at, but it's Wojciech Polezny who wins here today.
Okay, so we have a decision, we heard.
Got a decision made.
There you go.
That is your decision. Jan Teufel, race winner then. So he takes the pole, he takes the race wins. Jan Teufel, race winner in Kemptol. He is the one who won today.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And what a win it was. He led the knockout qualifying session, if you remember, for majority of it, and then led the race for the majority up until that final lap of the race where Wojciech Polezny got past him. He inherited the win due to track limit for Wojciech Polezny. I think on 10 accounts of track limits it was, after Jan had put in a protest over Polezny in the 20-minute window the drivers have after the race to look at incidents. So it was a protest put in by Teufel that helped him get elevated into P1. And here he is on the track at the moment in his cockpit and fully focused, full of confidence is the main thing as well. He took that race win, didn't expect the race win, was looking for points more than anything, he said last time out, but surely the win is going to give him so much confidence going into this race today at Spa that he can propel himself forward and hopefully get up the grid. He'll be coming from P8 in that knockout qualifying session, so he's got a good chance of getting towards the front of the pack at the moment, and that'll be an opportunity for him in knockout, with it being a shorter knockout today, with Spa being such a long circuit, to get up the field and get a good qualifying as possible. Let's take a look, though, at the championship leader. He's loosening the wrists as he goes. Michael Schmiedel, the current championship leader, promoted to P13, and is clapping, wiggling the wrists, making sure the gloves fit absolutely perfect. Here is Schmiedel, championship leader. Ciro Zambra's got himself past Sebastian Hirsch, and Schmiedel patiently waits on the back of David Seed then as they come down towards turn one. Push to pass. Schmiedel now is right on the rear wing of Christoph Holstein. Mohamed Ramsey, you see there in the background, watching on from Schmiedel. Mikel Sanchez-Schmiedel and Zambra round out the points. Florian Horser. He takes points out of Schmiedel, that's the best you can say. Schmiedel P9.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
Schmiedel was P9, and as you heard myself say there, that he takes points out of Schmiedel. Well, it was post-race penalties that took Alejandro Sanchez out of the points and gave Schmiedel an extra couple of places, with that of Wojciech Polezny picking up penalties as well, propelling Schmiedel into the fantastic position he's in at the moment. He has such a lead over Sanchez so far that if he wins today's race and Sanchez does not score, he will require 1 point in the last two races at Laguna Seca or the Battle for Glory race to win this championship. He needs to outscore Angelo Mikel by 18 or more points today to eliminate Angelo Mikel from the championship rankings in this one and make it a two-horse race going into Laguna. So a win for Schmiedel today puts him 50 points clear with 50 points to play for. Now, let's just picture this, ladies and gentlemen. If Schmiedel wins today, that'll take him to 3 race wins. Sanchez doesn't score. That's a 50-point gap. Sanchez has 1 win to his name. If we then go to Laguna in round 10 at the Battle for Glory and Schmiedel doesn't score a point and Sanchez wins both races, they'll be tied on points, tied on 3 race wins apiece, and it'll go down to second places. That information I do not have, and I'll have to find out for you for Laguna Seca in case the inevitable happens. But Schmiedel, you have to say, is in pole position. He's in that driver's seat. He's in the hot seat, really, to take the championship and retain his crown that he won last year at this very circuit. Let's not forget, this time last season, Schmiedel was being crowned champion at the end of the race with his fight with Alejandro Sanchez. It was fantastic to see last time out. I remember them splitting a car down the Kemmel straight in towards Le Com, and it was a fantastic fight from Schmiedel and Sanchez. Will we get a repeat of that today between the pair of them? That's the big interesting question. It was a great fight for them, and he took his championship last time out at Spa. Can't today mathematically, but can have one hand of it. To talk us through Spa, though, let's go to Mr. JWW himself.
Welcome back and welcome to Spa Racing Circuit in Belgium. This is, no doubt, one of the most famous circuits in the world and one of the drivers' favourite. Now, at just over 7 kilometres long, there is a lot for these guys to deal with. Of course, it's iconic for one of the most notorious sets of corners in all of racing. Radion transitioning into Eau Rouge. This is a blunt crest, flat out, and it's a real challenge for these guys. Now, in this race, it's going to be about endurance. As I mentioned, it's just over 7 kilometers, but also winding its way through some incredibly beautiful scenery. Gorgeous woodland, undulations, dips, high speed. It's all about the balance of cars. There's some incredibly fast-flowing corners, so these guys are going to be flat out for a good proportion of the lap, with some certain spots having some really heavy braking points. So stay tuned, it's going to get really intense, importantly, really fast.
Really fast and intense as well. But James has done Spa backwards there. It's Eau Rouge into Radion. Never mind. We'll get there. Either way, it's going to be fantastic. Like I said, it's the most famous corner on this circuit. Eau Rouge up to Radion, down the Kemmel Straight. Really important to get a good slingshot at the top of Eau Rouge and Radion to make sure you can have that momentum down the Kemmel Straight. We saw a lot yesterday using the push to pass in that certain area as well. But it's mainly the slipstream that we saw when drivers didn't have the push to pass, or especially in the knockout qualifying session. The slipstream down the Kemmel Straight, so effective, like we see in Formula One and other motorsports as well. For you guys who are new to Racing Unleashed and new to the format of the knockout qualifying session, we have this here. It is exactly 12 laps, or 11 laps, I do believe, today. It is a 1 lap, no overtaking, warm-up lap behind the safety car. You cannot do anything apart from warm your tyres and brakes up and make sure you stay single file. Today is 1 guarded lap. Due to the length of Spa, it is 1 lap where drivers can go fully racing. Overtaking is allowed, and we accept all manner of racing in that guarded lap. Nobody is eliminated. At the end of lap 3, because there's only 19 drivers today, we lose the bottom driver, the bottom 1 driver today at the end of lap 3. The end of lap 4 and onwards, we lose 2 drivers. So the bottom 2 drivers will then be eliminated until we then get to that final lap where there's first and second left, and it will be a fight for pole position. And if you watched last night, you'll see that the last 3 laps of the knockout session, we had Walter Troninger and Mohamed Ramsey battling. They then got 5th and 6th. Then we had Lorenzo Hayder and Roberto Miguez, who was fighting for 3rd and 4th. Then we had that great last lap shootout between Simon Shelbert and Tyler Klausch. And are we in for some exciting knockout qualifying today? I'm sure we are, because it's a fantastic track. The knockout, the KO and the race penalty point system then in place. A 2-place grid penalty today will see drivers pick up a 5 penalty points. 4th place is 10, 6th place is 15. For the race, it's 5, 10, 15 seconds equals 5, 10, 15 penalty points. Now, one of the most crucial things to remember in this is that a lap 1 incident, whether it be knockout or the race, is double bubble. Double penalty points throughout that for lap 1 in both. 20 points, you get a knockout qualifying ban. 40 points, so an extra 20 after that, you get a weekend ban, which Wojciech Polesny is on the cusp of getting. He needs 2 points to get that knockout, that weekend ban, and he will not want that, because he will not want to miss Laguna Seca. What he will want is this screen. You have a clean knockout, you lose 2 penalty points off of your license. You have a clean race, you lose 3 penalty points. So the chance to lose 5 points in total off your license. So for the likes of Wojciech Polesny, and I believe it was Mark Gasner, who are on 18 points each, they have the chance to go back down to 12 points if they have a clean KO and a clean race. That'll be the goals. That'll be what the drivers are looking to do. Obviously, the big talking point last time was them track limits that Wojciech Polesny did take. So that'll be something that drivers are all going to be watching this week, and we'll be monitoring to race control if it comes to it, though. Live in our Kempthal lounge is this man, Ciro Zambra, who, what a last couple of weeks he's had, really, in terms of his sim racing and real racing experiences. He's been able to take a trip to America, to Prodigy, I do believe it's called, where he was able to drive a Radical in America and learn full media training and full sort of racing training and experiences that he's been able to bring back. So if we get to speak to Ciro today, we expect him to be such a professional on the microphone now, seeing he's had all the learning and all the training he needs. There is, though, our Kempthal lounge. Fantastic to see all the drivers getting really focused and really into this as they come towards the end of their gear up session then. The interesting thing to notice is, Yannick Pletcher is the first interesting thing to notice. I don't know if he's doing the safety car driving today or if he's just getting some practice in ready for Laguna Seca. A thumbs up there from our championship leader in Challenger League. He's our safety car driver, I've just been told in my ear. So he has the honour today of driving the safety car. So Yannick, make sure you do a stellar job there. But Ciro Zambra, what a time he's had in recent weeks in terms of his real experience. There is Noah, our lounge attendant in Kempthal. making sure that Yannick Pletcher knows what he's doing in that safety car. I'm sure our Challenger League leader knows exactly what he's doing. The drivers will stay in the cockpit at the end of the gear-up session because it's a quick turnaround into knockout in which the grid order will go through on that warm-up lap that Yannick Pletcher will be bringing us in his Ferrari 488 Challenge car. There is our Munich lounge, a lot quieter than last night, and you see there all the drivers fully gearing up, if you will, into the session. The 2 lounge attendants sat behind. That looks to be Florian Horser there, sat behind there. Spectator down in the background as well. But a lot quieter in our Munich lounge than last night. It was a great party atmosphere, very quiet in Madrid as well. As you see, a few of the drivers still in their cockpits getting the gear up, last minute preparations done. And yeah, very quiet in the lounges this Saturday morning compared to what we saw last night. For these drivers, tricky circuit today. Spa, it's one of the most famous circuits in the world, one of the most famous layouts as well. Through the Ardennes Forest, a bit of a roller coaster, if you will, up and down, left and right, sweeping corners, fast corners as well, and none more challenging than El Rouge and Radion. You've also got the slower corners of the chicane at the very end. Turn 1 of La Source, a very interesting corner where you can look to dive up the inside or outside and try and make some moves, but it's going to be an action-packed race, that is for sure. It's Challenge 8 of the season. We have 2 races left after this. We go to Laguna Seca on the 8th and 9th of December, which is going to be an absolutely fantastic race. Really looking forward to Laguna Seca. And then the Battle for Glory, which will be brought to you on the 13th of January. Now, Battle for Glory is an unknown track. It is a secret location. We don't know where it is, apart from management here at Racing Unleashed. They're keeping it very quiet. That is also round 10. There, though, is Laguna Seca, 8th and 9th of December, as we said. It's going to be a fantastic track to watch. It's going to be brilliant to see, especially that corkscrew area. We've got El Rouge today, where it's a left, right, left, coming up the hill over to Radion, and then we have the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. That's going to be fantastic. Then the Battle for Glory, 13th of January at 12:30. You will not want to miss any of the action because it is Challenger and Racer League live together. So you will not want to miss that Battle for Glory. It is going to be fantastic. And as you see there, fingers on lips. And it is definitely fingers on lips because nobody is sharing this circuit at all at the moment. It's going to be a fantastic racetrack. And this as well, crucially for both Challenger and Race League drivers, this will be limited testing for this circuit because they don't know the track either. So practice will be very limited for the drivers on this circuit. So they really have got to make sure they know the track well and could expect any form of circuit at the moment. There we see, once again, Laguna Seca, 8th and 9th of December. And the secret track of the Battle for Glory, round 10 of the season, ignore the 12th of January, it is the 13th of January only. It is a one-day event, a longer programme for you all to be a part of and for you all to watch Challenger League and Racer League all together. It should be a fantastic day and a good party atmosphere, hopefully, in all the lounges then. So, as drivers do prepare for knockout qualifying, once again, the penalty roster there is Polesny and Mark Gasner are 2 drivers that are on that cusp of a KO ban for Gasner and a weekend ban for Polesny. You will not want to miss Laguna Seca, so for Wojciech Polesny, needs to hope that he doesn't get any more penalty points on his name. You won't want a knockout ban, to be fair, because Laguna Seca are a fantastic circuit in California. Brilliant circuit. It is one to really keep your eyes on and join us for, because that's going to be a fantastic race when we see the drivers out there in America then, as we head into the Ardennes Forest shortly for our knockout qualifying session. Challenge 8, round 8. And once again, if you've just joined the programme, Michael Smeedle today can eliminate Angelo Mikel from them championship standings. He needs to outscore him by 18 or more points. And if he wins the race with Sanchez not scoring a point, it is all but done. And done in the RU23, the challenge car for this year. And it has been a challenge for a lot of drivers. New for this year, redeveloped car from last year's. It is brand new for us and only for us. It is fantastic to see the RU23 out on the circuits. And we've seen it be a lot more interesting, this car this year. It's not as stable. It's a bit more loose, especially in the dirty air. And we saw yesterday a lot of drivers in the dirty air struggling with the rear end grip in terms of that rear end just wanting to come around on you and spin you around. We saw a lot of drivers understeering off through the dirty air into over track limits towards through Pouhon and everything. And it's just interesting to see the challenges that these guys have in these cars. And these are the 5 different cars we have in store for you. Ignore the Zurich of the blue one, the Zurich Airport Circuit. The blue and light blue trim is not on the track today. Neither is the one closest to me, the red of Calm. We are looking at the Zurich Kemptal Lounge, the green wing mirrors, helmet, and the little trim on the front wing. The yellow of Madrid in the middle with the yellow trims, and the pink of Munich. Beautiful pink, that one, on the Munich cars. And we had some beautiful camera shots yesterday of the front wing, really sort of letting you know that which car it was and which sort of driver, which lounge it was that we was on board with at the time. If you are new to the programme, we have a lot of drivers in the Kemptal, Madrid and Munich lounges, and you have to say it's been fantastic this season. In terms of race winners, Michael Smeedle's won 2 races this year. Alejandro Sanchez, David Seed, Christoph Holstein, Jan Teufel and Angelo Michel have won 1 race apiece. The knockout qualifying grid, though, is a little like this. It's David Ladamada that will start on pole with Kevin AB P2, Ivan Kaufman P3, Dominic Dedic will go from 4th with Loris Mistretta, Jan Teufel P6, Zero Zambra P7, David Seed will be P8 with Christoph Holstein P9, Sinan Demirbas P10. To the bottom half, Wojciech Polezny will go from 11th with Florian Haas at 12th, Sebastian Hirsch P13, Enrique Marinon 15th, Alejandro Sanchez P16 and Michael Smeedle down in 17th place here then today. So that is the knockout qualifying grid. In terms of the racing lounges, Munich have won 3 races, Madrid have won 2, Kemptal have also won 2 in the lounge battle between the 3 lounges in the Racer League. So interesting to see the drivers. Only double race winner for Michael Smeedle this year. Will we get a new race winner like we had last night in the Challenge League with Lorenzo Hayder? Will it be another win for Michael Smeedle? Can any of the previous drivers that have won as well take a second win of the season? Alejandro Sanchez will be certainly hoping to win and claw some points back over Michael Smeedle. Indeed, Angelo Michel, he might want a second win. He might want to get some points in his back pocket to try and close that gap and try and stay in this championship hunt as soon as he can. It's going to be fantastic to watch. And they're playing for them beautiful trophies over there. The big one in the background is the Racer League trophy that the drivers will be wanting to get their hands on. It. The brilliant, fantastic, beautiful trophies for the drivers to get their hands on today, as Madrid looks to start like it's getting a little lively. I believe that's Marcus Valverde who's come to watch some of the drivers. They're all in the cockpits. You see just on the monitor here that they look like they're on the grid getting ready to start their knockout qualifying session. They're all sat patiently waiting. And there's a lot of chatter off screen, so I wonder if there's a few more people off camera there that we cannot see at the moment. They all look like they're sat in their cockpits ready to go. It's picking up a little bit in Munich as well. They look like they're having a few more people come in. As good evening to the Munich, good morning to the Munich lounge and our live camera crew in Kemptal. The drivers sitting in, waiting to get the show on the road. And you can just see everybody nice and patient as they wait for the lights to go green and they wait for the race to start, or the knockouts to start. There is the Ferrari 488 Challenge safety car driven today by Yannick Pletcher. He has the honour and the privilege of driving this safety car for you today. As we are about to get underway in this session, once again, let me remind you that it is a knockout session. It means that it is one warm-up lap for the drivers, and after the warm-up lap, they prepare their tyres and their brakes. It will then be a full racing lap for 1 lap only. Normally it's 2 or 3. Today it is 1 due to the length of Spa. There is Yannick Pletcher getting ready in his safety car to take them on the lap. He's even brought his racing gloves to drive the safety car today, taking it very, very seriously. Indeed is Yannick Pletcher then. So it's 1 guarded lap after this warm-up lap, and then it'll be followed by the racing laps, where 17 drivers on the grid today means that the first lap will be a 1 car eliminated at the end of lap 3. At the end of lap 4, we will then lose 2 drivers as they go through the motions until we get our pole sitter. So Yannick Pletcher taking us through a lap of Spa in the Ferrari safety car. Lovely livery on that Ferrari safety car as well. Beautiful decal. Really is nice to see, really is good to see the Racing Unleashed livery on such a fantastic car. As the drivers, you see there, David Ladamada really preparing his tyres in the background. Everybody coming through No Name down towards Pouhon. getting their tyres and brakes in the right window. Now, we saw in yesterday's knockout that there was a little stop-start incident coming out towards the chicane, in which caught a few drivers out. Hopefully today we will not have this same issue. Hopefully these Racer League drivers will be able to get underway brilliantly. And we should be in for an absolutely cracking race here in this one. It really should be fantastic to see what these drivers can do around such a famous and iconic circuit. Nice steady outlap for Yannick Pletcher here. Really has got to grips with driving this Ferrari safety car. And he's not going too fast. He just want to make sure he spins the safety car, because that'll be a little funny. I know that in the past when I've spoke to drivers and they've had the honour of driving the safety car, they have said that they've struggled to, the nerves have got the better of them to not spin the safety car on that warm-up lap. And so far, nobody ever has. So 17 drivers today. There is no Devin Eastgrow, there is no Javier Loro taking to the grid for today's race. Or for today's knockout at least. Can they all get away cleanly? Yannick Pletcher pulls the car into the pits. David Ladomada backs the pack up. Last bit of tyre preparation. When does he decide to go? Into the chicane now. David Ladomada through the chicane. Where does he appear? That's the safety car peeling off into the pits. David Ladomada's already gone here. And as they come down, we start the knockout qualifying procedure. It's Ladomada who will lead into the source of turn 1. There's a few battles going on already in the background, and there's a few drivers trying to make up places. There's a couple of cars side by side. A little further down the field, Ciro Zambra has got past Jan Teufel. That may have been the battle we've just seen coming in towards the source, but David Ladomada already a good start for him in this knockout session. He has a good gap, no push to pass, remember, in this session, so it's a chance for these drivers to use the slipstream and pure pace, as there's a car in the middle of the pack there, still getting tyres up to temperature, you saw. So clearly using the Camel Straight to get a bit of temperature in tyres. Wojciech Plesny's got past Fernando Merbas, and Sebastian Hirsch has got past Florian Harser as well. David Ladomada, 6/10 in the lead so far of Kevin Aby. And he's got a shorter knockout session. Sanchez has got past Angelo Mikel. That is crucial to put cars between himself and Smeedle going into the race a little later on. Here is Enrique Marignon, currently sat P14 on the back of Florian Harser. Down in towards P1 they come. Kevin Aby still losing time to David Ladomada as Loris Mistretta, Ciro Zambra, Jan Teufel. In fact, a lot of drivers gaining places because Dominic Dedic has had a moment and has tumbled down to P17. Kaufman has got himself ahead of Aby as well. There is our championship leader, Michael Smeedle. Into the final sector of the lap he goes, and he's right on the back of Angelo Mikel. He knows now that he's been given an extra lap at the moment, with Dedic being that driver that will first be eliminated due to the fact that there's 17 cars. He's got time to get past a few others. Sanchez looking for a move on Marignon. Is that just a little further up, down into the bus stop chicane? Here is Florian Harser, who's back ahead of Hirsch. Oh, little wiggle there. Hirsch is side by side with him. And in the background, Marignon, I think, managed to hold on to Sanchez. And Hirsch and Sanchez now side by side down in towards the source. Does Sanchez look up the inside of Marignon? No, Marignon defends his line and keeps it nice and tidy. Smeedle, fastest lap of the race. Florian Harser back ahead of Hirsch. And in fact, Marignon's got ahead of Hirsch as well. So what has happened to Sebastian Hirsch at the source? He's lost out to Enrique Marignon, but has not lost out to Alejandro Sanchez. What a run for Marignon. He's already getting side by side. And now Hirsch goes to the right. And he's splitting Marignon and that of Florian Harser, but he backs out of it. Marignon round the outside. Hirsch stays where he is. And Sanchez now under a little bit of pressure from Michael Smeedle as he's got past Angelo Mikel. Dominic Dedic's not too far away. David Ladomada still leading this lap. Don't forget, we lose the bottom driver in this session at the end of this lap. So far we will lose Dominic Dedic at the end of this lap. That is great awareness from Sebastian Hirsch. Knew that Marignon was alongside Harser, backed out of that one before an incident was caused. Great to see that up front. Is Marignon getting ahead of Sinan de Merbas? Yes, through the S as he goes. And Marignon now up to P10. He's on a bit of a charge. Only the 3 Madrid drivers today. David Seed is the lead Madrid driver at the moment in P6. Ciro Zambra will be looking to get a good start as well. Obviously, second place back at Silverstone. He'll be wanting some more points and possibly some more podiums here today. Michael Smeedle then through Blanchimont. gaining on the back of Alejandro Sanchez. Does he think of having a look? No, Dominik Dedic will be the man eliminated, but further forward, bit of drama as Hirsch gets past Horser now, and I believe we are going to lose Dominik Dedic from this knockout session. He will line up P17 here in this one. Hirsch, though, moves ahead of Florian Horser. There's Walter Troninger in the background, watching on. He said in his video yesterday it's a very family feel, all in a WhatsApp group, so I'm sure he'd have been WhatsApp to come down and watch. De Merbasso up through El Rouge, brilliant within the limits, and you see the run he gets as Marignon and Jan Teufel up front just trying to break the slipstream. Marignon, though, has a great run over Teufel and is already going to get the move done coming into La Source. Enrique Marignon round the outside, easy as you like. De Merbass as well having a look. Mikel's got ahead of Smeedle, so Mikel and Smeedle in a bit of danger of being eliminated here. Enrique Marignon, he's on a mission at the moment, making moves every way he goes. Further forward, Pelagny, Holstein and Kevin Aby having a battle. What has happened to Sebastian Hirsch? He's tumbled down to 16th place and he's been overtaken by Mikel and by Smeedle. He's been spun around, or spun around himself, apologies. Smeedle, oh, little wiggle on the curb. And just had a little moment. Could this be the end of Smeedle's qualifying then? Sanchez has got past Horser as well, so Sanchez living to fight another day and putting a bit of daylight between himself and Smeedle. We saw with Yannick Pletcher yesterday, he couldn't come through the field from the back. Same for Michael Smeedle here. Angelo Mikel is in this championship fight, so he'll be happy that he's ahead of the championship leader, and he will have one more lap to go as well. Sebastian Hirsch down in P16 at the moment. Looks like that's going to be the end for him. As into Blanchimont they come towards the bus stop chicane. Smeedle's going to outbrake Mikel round the outside. Has the inside for the final part, and has he just hung in there for another lap of qualifying? No, I don't believe he has. Michael Smeedle will be eliminated in P15. That is a great battle at the end. There's Sebastian Hirsch, P16 for him, but for Smeedle, couldn't make his way through the pack there. Battles as well. Jan Teufel dropped down to 14th place behind Angelo Mikel. There is Sebastian Hirsch, who I'm sure will have to regroup for the race in a few moments' time. Jan Teufel's down to 14th. Mikel's gone up to 13th. Alejandro Sanchez as well is making moves. As Enrique Marignon now, he's making more moves. Past Christoph Holstein, he's up into 8th place. Ciro Zambra's getting closer to Loris Mastretta as David Ladamada is still 0.7 of a second clear of Ivan Kaufman. He's doing a good job of leading out front at the moment, is Ladamada. And here is one man who's still in that championship contention, Angelo Mikel. Oh, too much curb, bit wiggle on the entry into the left-hander there. Manages to keep it all together, but he's lost a bit of time on the back of Florian Horser. Knows he needs to get past Horser to get another lap in. And a huge wiggle for Angelo Mikel. Here is Christoph Holstein, who was in Kemptol last night. Maybe just picking up a few tips from a few drivers, and he's here today. Fully focused race winner back at the Red Bull Ring. Christoph Holstein, no P9 at the moment. He's clear of Sinan de Merbass, and Angelo Mikel now getting on the back of Florian Horser. Can Mikel do to Horser what Smeedle couldn't do to him? Late on the brakes round the outside. He'll have the inside for the second part. It looks like Mikel does get the job done on Florian Horser and will live to fight for one more lap. It is going to be P13 for Horser. Great move from Angelo Mikel, and it is going to be P14 for our previous race winner Jan Teufel, down in 14th place. But Mikel did to Horser what Smeedle couldn't do to him. He now has work to do to gain on the back of Alejandro Sanchez, the car in front. He's 1.2 seconds, but Sanchez may not be the car in front for much longer. Down the Kemmel Straight they come. All the drivers coming through. That is one of the Munich drivers defending, and Sanchez is past Sinan de Merbass. So now Mikel will chase after Sinan. Look at the determination on Angelo Mikel's face. He's fully focused on what he's got to do today and knows that every car he passes, the higher up the grid he gets, the better chance of outscoring Michael Smeedle he has. Alejandro Sanchez here, now into P10, so it's de Merbass and Mikel, the drivers at risk. Pelagny's up into 6th place. That would have been the Munich driver we saw getting past Kevin Aby, or defending from Kevin Aby. Here's Christoph Holstein. And that radar of Alejandro Sanchez beeping loud and proud because of the fact Holstein is right in front of him. Target locked, he says. Can he get through Christoph Holstein? He will get one more lap, will Alejandro Sanchez, but needs to get Enrique Marignon not just Holstein, so he's got to make up 2 places. Looks like he's going to get a great run as they come towards Blanchimont now. David Ladamada still in the lead of this. Ciro Zambra and Kaufman are having a fight. Sanchez pulls to the outside of Holstein. Can he be later on the brakes? Round the outside at the bus stop chicane. Little bit of contact maybe between the pair of them there. Holstein has a little wiggle and through goes Sanchez. Holstein's going to get barged out of the way by Sinan de Murbas, and Holstein down in P11. He will be eliminated from this knockout session. We also lose Angelo Mikel in P12. Not a bad session for Mikel. They made up a few places. We also lose Christoph Holstein. Sinan de Murbas now has the opportunity to try and get a couple more places, but you fancy Alejandro Sanchez. The man who's been on a real mission today is Enrique Marignon. He's done it again on the Kemmel Straight with no push to pass. Round the outside of Kevin Aby. Does he make it stick? He does. P7 for Marignon. He's on an absolute flyer, and this gives Sanchez now the chance to get past Kevin Aby. Marignon lines him up. Sanchez knocks them down. And he can't knock them down at the moment because Kevin Aby's holding it strong on the outside. Now we'll have the inside. Sanchez slams a nose there. Kevin Aby all over the curb. You see Sanchez side by side with him in towards P1. Here comes Sanchez and he gets the move complete. Kevin Aby goes wide and Sinan de Murbas gets through as well. And now Aby down into 10th place. Sinan still needs to get one more place to get him through another lap. But for Sanchez, he lives to fight another day yet again. Needs to get on the back of Marignon and Pelesny for Sanchez to try and get through one more lap, but he moves up to P8. Sinan de Murbas now up into P9. He's in the slipstream of Alejandro Sanchez here, to be fair. Ciro Zambra gaining on the back of David Ladamada. On the timing screens, he's now taken the lead from David Ladamada. As Ivan Kaufman P3. Loris Mestret has moved up to 4th ahead of David Seed. And there is Ciro Zambra up in to provisional pole at the moment. So we lose Kevin Aby, P10 for him. We lose Sinan de Murbas, who will go from P9 inside the top 10. Alejandro Sanchez has 1 lap to try and make up 2 places. So does Wojciech Pelesny to make up 1 place. Here's the top Madrid driver at the moment. Through Radion, it's David Seed, who now pulls to the outside, flicks to the inside. Bit of a tap on the back of Loris Mestret there from David Seed. Down the Kemmel Straight, he's going to have the inside for Lecombe. And can he get the job done? Oh, Mastretta just turns in on Seed a little bit there. Where is Mastretta gone? Oh, big wiggle! I think more contact made. Pelesny gets past the pair of them. Marignon gets a place. Sanchez gets a place. And now for Marignon, he's on the back of Mastretta. And Wojciech Pelesny, easy as you like. And I tell you what, great reflexes from the Czech driver there to miss both Mastretta and David Seed. But now Sanchez and Marignon within striking distance. Marignon will go another lap. Sanchez needs to get past 1 car to go another lap. David Ladamada, hats off to him in this session. Led for so long, Ciro's got past him. He's still 2nd place. Good qualifying session for David Ladamada. Oh, bit of a wiggle for Mastretta. And is this where Marignon can pounce now? Sanchez within half second of Marignon. Marignon within 4/10 of Mastretta. Here's Ivan Kaufman gaining on David Ladamada then. In towards the bus stop chicane, heavy on the brakes. Gains on Ladamada a little bit. Sanchez is going to be done in knockout here. So David Seed's going to go from P8. Alejandro Sanchez will go from 7th place. Nearly 10 places higher than his closest championship rival, but for David Seed it's 8th. Alejandro Sanchez, it is 7th. And Enrique Marignon now will be the one put pressure on Loris Mastretta and try and hunt down Wojciech Pelesny. This seems to be Marignon's favourite place to overtake, and yet again he's going to tick another one off his list as calm as you like on the Kemmel Straight. Oh, don't jink left, he's still there, not now. Marignon P5 and has 1.1 seconds to Wojciech Pelesny. Can he do it in just over half a lap? It's going to be a big ask for Enrique Marignon. Out front, Ciro Zambra, 2.2 seconds in the lead. And Kaufman putting pressure on Ladamada. Pelesny trying to hunt down Kaufman and Marignon trying to hunt down Pelesny. That gap has just dipped under a second. It's now dipping closer, under 9/10 of a second. So Marignon trying to get closer and closer and closer. While Kaufman's trying to catch Ladamada, Pelesny's trying to catch him. It's all starting to develop now. Ciro Zambra's checked out up front. Bit of a wiggle for Marignon. Within 6/10 of Polesny. I think that gap's too big at the minute. Polesny's gaining on Kaufman. And Marignon making no inroads on Polesny. That looks like it's going to be Loris Mistretta will be P6. And it does look like Enrique Marignon will have to settle for that of P5. There is David Ladamada really working hard in the cockpit. So P5 for Marignon, P6 for Loris Mistretta. Marignon, what a knockout session that is. Came from 14th on the grid all the way up to 5th. Gained 9 places in that session. Absolutely brilliant. But now our attention turns to Wojciech Polesny, who's on the back of Kaufman, who's on the back of David Ladamada, and anything can happen. Good run for Polesny up through Radion. He's starting to bring that gap down a little bit. You see the slipstream will be fully working here, down to 3/10, under to 2.5/10. He's getting closer, closer, closer. Has a look at the com, breaks hard into it, right, left, still getting closer to the back of Ivan Kaufman's RU23 car. Now into the middle sector they come. And Polesny knows where he'll probably be able to set him up, get it done maybe towards the bus stop chicane. Through No Name they come now. Kaufman then trying to work hard to get on the back of Ladamada to fight for one last lap. It probably won't disrupt Ciro Zambra at the moment, who's 3.2 clear. He's really worked his way forward and got a good performance from him. And it's been fantastic to see. Polesny, though, knows where he can set Kaufman up. 4/10 of a second. The gap to Kaufman and Ladamada is exactly the same as it was to Kaufman and Polesny. Now Kaufman tries to work on Ladamada. Polesny's going to try and work as hard as he can to get past Kaufman. Will Kaufman fight another day? Will Polesny? They come down towards the bus stop chicane. Camera picks up Kaufman now, looking at David Ladamada. He's up the inside of Ladamada. They touch a little bit. Polesny has a wiggle. Does he get any job done? No. Kaufman, though, does get through. So Ladamada's going to be P3. It is going to be P4 for Wojciech Polesny. And Ladamada at the very, very end just couldn't get the move done. Ladamada actually fighting back on Kaufman there. He looks happy with his work today. Does Polesny there. Good knockout session for him. Ladamada's actually got back ahead of Kaufman there, so that may have distracted Kaufman a little bit. Kaufman carries on going. And Ciro Zambra at 5.7 out in front. It looks pretty easy now for Ciro. He's just not got to make any mistakes here. Gap 6.1. I think Kaufman's just going to settle for P2. I'm sure he'll take that. And we may get to put Ciro Zambra's media training to good use here in a few moments' time. 6.6 seconds he has over Kaufman at the moment. And this will be a fantastic one for Ciro Zambra to start P1. Really good race for him. A real good opportunity as well to get a race win. Like we said, second place back at Silverstone, the first race of the season, which David Seed took the win. Ciro now in a great seat and a great chance to take his first win of the season. It'll give Keptol their third in the Racer League as well. But Ciro Zambra through Blanchimont he comes now towards the bus stop chicane. It's been an easy session for him. He had to make a few overtakes, did Ciro Zambra. And there he is. I'm sure he's going to be so overwhelmed and jubilant as he crosses the line. Ciro Zambra, provisional pole position at the moment. Good stuff from him. Ciro is P1 for the time being. Obviously, the results will now be checked by race control. Ivan Kaufman finishes P2. He can be happy with his work. He got Ladamada at the very, very end. So Kaufman P2, Ciro, your provisional pole setter. What a qualifying for Ciro Zambra that was. And with Yannick Pletcher being there, I know good friends work with each other. I'm sure there'll be high fives all around for the Keptol Land. I don't think he can quite believe that. Well done, Ciro Zambra. P1 provisionally at the moment. Ciro the one to watch in this race from that start. He could get an absolute blinding start and pull away in this race. He's got the pace to do so. Good stuff there from Ciro Zambra. There is some of our drivers, Kaufman, Kevin Aby, Yannick Pletcher, Christoph Holstein, all congratulating Ciro. doesn't look massively happy at the moment. Is he waiting for this result to be confirmed fully? Well, he's still taking us on a lap of Spa, and it's fantastic to see that Ciro Zambra, after all his hard work in America, he comes back and takes that provisional pole position at the moment. We'll bring you full confirmation of pole position when we are told. Race control now will go through every incident they have noticed, and will be a 20-minute period now for drivers to submit footage, or submit incidents, should I say, for race control to take a look at and set the grid accordingly. Didn't see a lot wrong today, so possibly not the busiest race control could be here, but for Ciro Zambra, it's a provisional P1. We're going to wait to speak with him, hopefully, in a few moments' time. It was a good knockout session for him. It was a great knockout session for Enrique Marignon, who gained 9 places in that knockout. It was brilliant to see him charge through the field, and every time he seemed to get past somebody, Alejandro Sanchez followed through until Sanchez was eliminated. For Smeedle, we saw yesterday with Yannick Pletcher, couldn't make his way through the pack or the grid. In the knockout session, Smeedle found it difficult himself today as well to get through that pack. He's coming from P15 provisionally at the moment, so he's got work to do in this race if he is to really grasp that championship lead here. There is Ciro Zambra just chatting with family and friends in the background. I'm not sure he's quite convinced he's P1 yet. Yeah, I don't think he's fully convinced of pole position. Being told he's sick, not well. So that might be why he's not full of joy at the minute. But either way, if he's unwell, that makes it even better that Ciro has been able to take P1 at the moment. There he is chatting with Yannick Pletcher. And yeah, all that work he did in America last week before, paid off here in this knockout qualifying session. Ciro Zambra currently provisional P1. And hopefully we get to speak to him then if he's not too unwell to talk. We will hopefully get to speak to him. Good job, though, for Ivan Kufman as well. P2 at the very end. He got that from David Ladamada on the penultimate lap. Wojciech Plesny goes from 4th. Ladamada, P3. Had a good knockout session himself, did David. Really hung on to the lead for a while before this man got past him. But yeah, great job for the Camptar Lounge. Pole position provisionally for Ciro Zambra. Championship rivals, so the 3 in contention. Angelo Mikel provisionally P12. Smeedle P15. And as we know, Alejandro Sanchez P7, really sitting in the box seat at the moment to take some good points off of Smeedle in this championship fight going into the final 2 rounds of the season in December and January. So they are the 3 that can win the championship, but everybody else is playing for wins, podiums, points, prize money themselves. They are not going to be bothered about this championship fight. They want to get as best result as they can. And I believe we can now speak with Ciro Zambra. Ciro, provisional P1 at the moment. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Matthew. I'm so ill, so that's like why I'm not happy, because I know I could go like 2 or 3 tenths faster, but I just can't. I'm sweating all over the place.
It's great to see that you are ill, but it's great to see you in the cockpit, Ciro. Obviously, you've just come back from America. Just talk us a little bit. How was your time there?
It was amazing, and it just showed me that I really want to be a racing driver, you know. I had really 3 days in the life of a racing driver, with interviews, with media training, fitness tests, and with other competitors, and it was so much fun out there.
So much fun out there. And have you been able to transfer some skills, what you learnt out there in your driving today?
I mean, I was able to transfer from sim to real, but I don't think I took anything from real I can now put into the sim. But all in all, it was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot there, and I was able to push the car to the end there.
Talk us through today's qualifying then. It was a good session for yourself, Ciro. Obviously under the weather, not feeling the bet at 100%, but a good qualifying nonetheless.
Yes, I mean, it was my best qualifying ever. So well, I'm sick, but I did my best qualifying, and yeah, just focused on clean driving. I think I had no off tracks, if I'm right. So I just focused, and it just happened. I don't even know how I'm first.
Race coming up later on today. Can you win the race?
Well, as I said, it will be a tough task because I'm like 2 to 3 tenths slower a lap than I did practice last week. But I will try my best, and yeah, the points are in the race, so I'll just focus and hope for a very, very good result.
Well, Ciro, we'll let you get some rest before the race. Congratulations today. We hope you feel better soon, my friend.
Thank you, Matthew.
So a very sick Ciro Zambra there, 2 to 3 tenths slower, but that didn't affect him in this knockout session. P1 provisionally until we get full confirmation of that. He will be your provisional pole setter. Under the weather, and you can see how professional he was there. That media training has definitely paid off, I reckon, there. What a session that was for him. What a session it was for Enrique Marignon. We'll be bringing you some replays and chatting with Fabio a little later on in Rush Hour, your favourite part of the programme, we all know, in which we get to divulge in some fantastic details and look at incidents, look at replays. But this is what we have seen of Ciro Zambra in the USA on social media. As we see, a competition night was last night in Munich. And it was great to see all the competition around in the Challenger League. And it was a good atmosphere in the Munich Lounge as well. Some beer, non-alcoholic beverages as well. But here is Ciro Zambra in America for his Prodigy Week. And it was, there it is. There's the American one. This is a lap of Ciro Zambra, it looks like. In the Radical. And here is Sebastian Hirsch. Race week indeed. Lovely picture of Sebastian Hirsch there on his Instagram for race week this week. So it was good to see Ciro in America and obviously learning his trades in the real racing. And he, like he said there, he wants to do this in real life. And he hopes to do it through the abilities that Racing Unleashed give him, the chance of being in these simulators and the chance of earning the prize money and what he can do. What a session for him in knockout. Provisional P1 for Ciro Zambra, provisional P2 for Kaufman and provisional P3 for David Ladomada. That will be the lineup for the race. A Capital 1, 2, 3 as we go into the race later on this afternoon. What are we going to do now with Smeedle, with Mikel, with Sanchez? It's going to be interesting to see that Sanchez starts mid-pack, Smeedle towards the back. And can he make sure that he can get through the pack to get some points and get some job done in this race coming up a little later on as we now head into Rush Hour. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Missed it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always glad to be here with you, obviously, but it was also nice to be in the lounge for once. There was, a different vibe.
Yeah.
Obviously, here we just hear some noises from the cameras, but there it's totally different. People are screaming. If there are battles, drivers are screaming. You don't hear that in the studio, so it was nice to be there.
Obviously, like a pit lane reporter you was yesterday, sort of behind the cockpits and got to feel that full atmosphere. Your reporter skills, how did you find sort of being a reporter in the lounges?
I have to be honest, I was more nervous than actually standing here in front of the camera because you're seeing yourself also on the screen, you're hearing yourself, and obviously everyone in the lounge is looking at you, so I feel less observed here, even though people are watching online, but it was good fun. Good fun indeed.
Obviously, we have to talk about Ciro Zambra there, under the weather, not well, but a good knockout qualifying session, P1 for him.
Yeah, he actually texted me yesterday if he's allowed to drive, if he feels a little bit sick. I told him, if you feel well enough, it's up to you. You can decide if you want to come or not. He's done brilliantly as far as I could see. P1, provisionally, okay, but still a very, very good knockout for him if you look at the state that he was in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A good session as well for drivers like Enrique Marignon, made up 9 places in that knockout session. And he seemed to get all his work done on the Kemmel Straights, line them up at La Source and El Rouge, and then got the moves done down the Kemmel Straight into Les Combes. It was great drive from Marignon, 9 places gained in that session, really proving that, he's got some pace today.
Yeah, it was perfectly managed by Marignon, actually. There is no push to pass available in knockout, as we know. He is usually super quick around all the corners. So I'm happy for him that he, worked out well. Now it's about the race. Let's see if he can actually gain another 9 places or whatsoever. But he has definitely the speed to win this race.
Do you think he's one to watch in the race? Obviously, we know that Sinan Demirbas is the man to watch for Spa here this weekend. But is Marignon one to watch as well?
I mean, looking at the times that the guys did during the last few weeks, Marignon obviously is one to watch as well.
This is then the incident with Dominik Dedic. This is what put him down towards the back of the field. And he's currently in the mid-pack, coming down in towards the long left-hander. Easy to get wrong, and he just did. Touch the curb, too much speed, lost the rear end.
So there was no contact behind,
so.
I guess, right?
Just looks like he's dropped a wheel onto the curb. And it's a raised curb there, so...
Yeah, it unsettles the car usually if you go too hard over the curbs. Drivers know that, in this case, a bit too aggressive. If there was no touch from behind, so it's on Dedic here.
And that's the thing with this circuit. You've got curbs that are nice and flat that you can ride and run over. You've got curbs all raised. You've then got curbs that's got the sausage curb behind it. So you really have to pick and choose which curbs you can run and not. That's obviously one you can't, and Dedic has paid the price.
Yeah, usually you try to avoid this one actually, and not hit it that hard. Dirty air can play a role as well, but he was actually not too close to the guy in front.
This is Sebastian Hirsch on Sanchez. Sanchez into Les Combes. All clean at the moment. Hirsch then goes a little wide. Oh, no. Again, just over the curb and unsettles the car. That's what happens to Hirsch.
Yeah. I think he's not happy with that one.
Yeah.
But obviously he will be angry with himself here.
He kind of looked like he went deep at the comms, and that sort of messed his lines up through there.
Yeah, looked like it.
Sanchez on the outside couldn't take his normal line into the right-hander.
But again, like 2 driver mistakes that we've seen so far. I guess there will be some touches somewhere
potentially.
around the knockout, but not as
it was a good knockout session.
Yeah, it was kind of like a very clean knockout.
Yeah.
I think maybe also the cleanest that we've seen this season so far, also in the race league.
Potentially so.
Potentially, yeah. So maybe we need to bring up some topics that we can end the show.
Well, then to bring up some topics, I've got a brilliant topic. I'm going to save it for later, though. David Ladamada, P3. Great session for David. We'll take a look at this replay. This is Alejandro Sanchez on Jan Teufel then. Obviously, previous race winner was Teufel. Through Blanchimont they come.
Teufen's the
red car on that right-hand side, who's side-by-side with a driver from Munich, and Sanchez gets through. Now, that's an interesting one. Did Jan just turn in a little bit on Sanchez when he was there? I wonder if we can get that one just rewound a little bit and slow down again.
Do you believe that Teufel was aware that Sanchez was there?
It's a tough one.
I tell you, you always have to know that he's actually there, because he will try everything.
Especially at this stage of the season as well, with championship points. He's wheel to wheel.
Let's see if the tires are on level. So he is alongside. So
Jan, turn in.
He's alongside, so Alejandro earned his spot there, actually.
With that, though, I think, if I remember rightly, Jan actually loses out to what I believe is Sinan Demirbas. He gets eliminated.
Yeah.
No further action.
I would say so too, yeah.
There
because he was alongside. He might not be happy, but...
a wave and a kiss for us all. He still have it, yeah.
Maybe he caught you sleeping there, John.
Possibly a no further action for that one. Jan lost out more than anybody there and got himself eliminated. So no further action.
He doesn't seem to be very angry about it. So
he's going to be on cloud 9 after the last result, winning the race.
Yeah, I heard he had a party somewhere.
We wasn't invited.
I don't know. It was a secret one, maybe.
David Ladamada, before we get another replay, P3 had a great session today, led for quite a while and did really well. As we get to, this is the only penalty we're being told in our ear now. Loris Mastretta, the car in front of David Seed. Now, this was the contact we saw on stream.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So they have a contact after the Camel Straight, and then Loris goes wide, comes back to the track, and he slightly touches David, and that causes him to spin.
And it's David taps him on the Camel Straight. Loris turns in and taps him a little bit at the comms, but it's that unsafe rejoin.
It's unsafe.
That is what's done him. He's unsafely rejoined. Yeah. Hats off to Pelesny there. We was on board with Pelesny, who avoided both of them to get through.
Yep.
could have easily been caught up in that himself and been taken out. But there is Loris Mistretta, who looks so
Sorry,
Loris
Loris.
at the moment. But 2-place grid penalty for Loris Mistretta.
It's very marginal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just the end plate of the front wing, but that's already enough, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately.
So that will take Loris from P6 down to P8, promoting David Seed to P7 and promoting promoting David Seed to P7 and promoting Alejandro Sanchez to P6. So Sanchez
P6 and Smeedle P15.
P15, yeah. Big difference. And if it stays like that, Sanchez gains 8 points over Smeedle. Obviously,
It's not going to stay like that.
you say that, anything can happen.
I know, but just wait.
Yeah, just wait. You know more one penalty. That's good. That's good.
I mean, if
you know about getting penalties.
I mean,
as well.
I know it myself as well. Yes, I do. But the thing is, last time round we were in, where were we? Barcelona, right? So the whole pack was bunched up because some drivers were a bit slower on pace. This time round, Spa has just more space and, it's easier to overtake. So I don't believe that the pack will be as bunched up. Yeah. So penalties will have not as a great of an impact as in Barcelona. So, we'll see how that goes. So maybe someone is leading by 5 seconds, has a 5-second penalty, and there is no switching positions.
Indeed, then. So just the one penalty for Loris Mistretta in this knockout session. So then, back into the session, and this has been a big topic we've seen last time out at Barcelona, the Jan Teufel win from Wojciech Polezny. His first win, I believe, at Racing Unleashed, we said last time around, and it was he was very happy. Obviously, he had a party, he said, in terms of winning his race. But it was the track limits that Wojciech Polezny used or abused, should I say, several times, that got him the penalty for Jan to pick up the win.
Yeah, so usually we tell the drivers that they need to report us incidents, right? And there was a time where nobody reported anything about, Wojciech going off the track and basically have a better run out of the last corner. It was actually crazy that the game didn't really penalize him for that, because usually if you have cuts, etc., it would penalize you. But in this particular sector, he went obviously off track a couple of times. And in that mini sector, it showed that he didn't gain time, but he had more speed through the last corner. And then the start-finish line is so early that it doesn't really have an impact on the last few meters, right? But eventually, basically, he had more speed.
He did indeed.
So they looked at it, and Chan was aware that he did it, I think, twice or so. Yeah. So he reported him, and race control looked at it, and they saw that there were many times of those off tracks. So that's why they penalised him.
Well, I believe we have a little clip when we caught up with Jan over the previous week since Catalonia, and I believe in the clip you'll see a couple of the track limits that said about Wojciech Polezny as well. Or maybe we don't. Either way, it was interesting to see, though. I think it was 10 accounts of track limits from Wojciech that race control had gone back and seen. And like you say, this is all down to the driver protest from Jan put in. They wouldn't have looked at had the protest not gone in. So this is where we race control and Racing Unleashed need to encourage drivers to protest these kind of incidents.
Yeah, because race control can't see everything. That's the issue, right? Because they look at many replays. They don't really see all the cars, what they're doing. And, it was reported by John, I believe, but also some other drivers. Yeah. They saw that. Yeah, it's a thing that you don't really want to see, because, the white lines basically declare where the racetrack is. So going off many times, it can happen once or twice, I agree, right? Because of dirty air, whatever.
There's running wide because you've made a mistake. There's running wide, undaring with the dirty air. And then there's just abusing track limits, and that's what Czech was deemed to have done.
Yeah, I mean, race control deemed it wrong, and this is why he received that penalty. And I actually don't want to go into more details here, because it was a delicate topic, and I'm sure none of the people that are involved were really happy of what happened there. So
for Jan, though, his first ever race win at Racing Unleashed, it was a big moment for him. Obviously, he was ecstatic with P2 to win the race. What must you feel when you win your first Racer League race as well?
I don't have experience winning a Racer League race, so I can't really. You have to ask
Jean or Christoph.
Christoph could tell about it. Yeah. So I mean, he is a student. It's a lot of money for him. So potentially goes out a few more times or invites his girlfriend to a nice dinner whatsoever. So I guess he's been there for like 3 years, so he must have enjoyed it, obviously, and. He would have loved it to be on the podium with Dominic Ditch, actually, but he got obviously, crashed out by Abby there.
Yeah.
But maybe, who knows, this season, still 3 races to go. Maybe they end up on the podium, but they will obviously work for it.
Indeed. Well, let's take a look now at the clip of Jan Teufel, who we caught up with after Barcelona.
I first started in Racing Unleashed 3 years ago. I had a hobby at home before where I just had a wheel on my PC and was gaming racing games at home, mostly like GT3 games. And so I just heard about this competition. Somewhere online I heard that they opened a lounge in Zurich, and I had a friend which was studying with me, Dominic Dedic. And so we decided together to give it a try. And yeah, that's how we got into it. On race day, there's a very good atmosphere. Like, we're all happy to be there. Like, after the knockout race, we get to talk about what happened, how we perceived certain incidents, and then we get to watch the stream together and see how like the commentators or race control deems certain incidents. And yeah, it's just really fun discussing those topics and in the end motivating each other, exchanging tips, and then get back into the race.
The revs rise, it's green and go. That's a quick start here. Not a hold as normal today, and it is all the way down to turn 1. We're on board with Dominic Dedic. It's all filed down. It's a clean getaway. Teufel already defending from fellow Capitol driver.
Yeah, a lot of things came together, like from being last in the standings, starting in front, getting P1. A few things had to come together, and I also have to thank Racing Unleashed there, letting me join the season only in the second half.
Pellegrini within 3 attempts. He uses push to pass now. Teufel does not. He does now. He activates it longer down the straight. It's the final lap of the race. Teufel left push to pass a little more than Pellegrini. Pellegrini's going to go around the outside. Or as they stall the last lap, Pellegrini leads this race. They touch. Pellegrini goes off. Does he have to yield that place back? He's got a poor bit of momentum. Teufel, though, lifted off there and gave him the place back. Did he? Marignon and Hirsch are now scrapping.
I was kind of annoyed that I had like this small mind glitch that I didn't press the button at the right time.
Teufel, has he left it too late in the day for his push to pass?
It was how it was, and yeah, I didn't want to focus on that negative emotion. I was just still super happy to be second. Like, usually I'm happy to be in the top 10, so yeah, I was over the moon still.
As they round the final corner, Pellegrini very, very wide. Again, track limits. Race control will be looking at, but it's Wojciech Pellegrini who wins here today. A great win for him. It'll be P2 for Jan Teufel.
Afterwards, they told me that Pellegrini had been cutting the last corner very severely. People just kept telling me it's not okay, but the race control is only going to investigate it if you make a report about it.
The rules state between the white lines, you've got to have 2 wheels. All 4 wheels cannot cross the white line. Not only has he crossed the white line, he's crossed the curb, he's crossed the AstroTurf. He's pretty much, he's left Barcelona. He's nearly in Madrid there.
Why do that when you're already in the lead?
Honestly, I couldn't believe it. When I put out the report, I was kind of just like doing it. I also didn't really know what was going on exactly, how severe it was. And then when it came out, it was still a surprise for me. And I was, super happy. Like, I was already happy, but this was just making it unbelievable to actually win the race, to be on top. And I don't know. It felt good, felt really good. I usually don't really like to get involved in the drama, because most of the time it's just people being angry about their own performance that day, and it's just letting it out on other drivers, I guess. But yeah, in that case, it was kind of over the limit, I guess.
And a lot of emotion on Jean's face there. And I'm sure watching that back, he's got a big smile on his face look today. But a lot of emotions last time out. You saw the emotion in the cockpit when he crossed the line P2. You know, he looked like he could burst into tears. And then to make the protest and win the race, I'm sure there was a tear shed at some point in that day.
Yeah, but because of joy, obviously. I mean, he's been there for, as he said, 3 years, so he earned that one. Obviously, it's not the way he would like to win.
Yeah.
But if there is a chance to report drivers, you know, you got to take it, you know, especially if, you know, the entire stream has seen what happened. And
I think actually when we look back on the YouTube channel, there was a few comments saying about track limits and things like this. So it was for Jean to put in. But the man to watch today is Sinan de Merbas. We also caught up with him after the Catalunya race.
Hallo, mein Name ist Sinan Dimebas, ich bin 24 Jahre alt und aus München und trete dieses Jahr als Racer League-Fahrer bei Racing Unleashed an. Hier sind meine Medaillen von der vergangenen Saison aus der Challenger League vor meinem Aufstieg und das war die Medaille von Brent Setch, wo ich meinen ersten Rennsieg einfahren konnte. Hier haben wir dann mein Schlafzimmer. Hier ist dann mein Simulator, wo ich sehr viel Zeit verbringe, wenn ich mal nicht in der Racing Unleashed Lounge bin. So, hier haben wir dann das Frühstück mit viel Obst und Gemüse. Hier noch mit Orangenplätzchen von meiner Mutter gemacht und türkischen Schwarztee. Und so frühstücke ich auch immer in der Früh vor den Competitions. Und meine Katze Michel ist auch fast immer am Tisch dabei beim Frühstück. Sie liebt Käse, sie bekommt dann auch immer so ein kleines Stück. Hier habe ich den Pokal vom letzten Rennen hingestellt, von Barcelona, 2. Platz, mein erstes Podium in der Racer League. Hoffentlich kommen noch mehrere dazu.
De Merbas back into P4. Great to see Sinan have a fantastic result this season. So Sinan using his last push to pass to get himself up onto the podium. Great to see him get a good result. Look at the smile on Sinan de Merbas' face. Absolutely ecstatic with that. He's been due a good result. And gets one today. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
Es war ein wirklich schönes Gefühl, wieder auf dem Podium zu stehen. Vor allem, wenn man auch sehr viel Unterstützung von Freunden und Familie bekommt. Und die Saison wirklich bisher nicht gut lief. Mit viel Pech und vielen privaten Ablenkungen. Aber es fällt einem sehr, sehr viel Last von den Schultern, wenn es einfach Klick macht. Und man weiß, was man kann.
P2 for him today. A great result for Sinan. The confetti thrown over his head.
Heute geht es wieder in die Motorwelt, in die Racing Lounge und meine 3 Essentials zum Mitnehmen ist immer eine Wasserflasche, meine Schuhe und ganz wichtig, Handschuhe mit sehr viel Grip. 13:30 Uhr, wir sind angekommen bei der Motorwelt, jetzt geht's zum Training. Nach dem letzten Ergebnis natürlich ist das Gefühl sehr gut und das Selbstbewusstsein hoch. Und jetzt muss man dranbleiben, konstant punkten, Top 5 Ergebnisse holen und dann in der Meisterschaft hoffentlich in den Top 10 bleiben. Ich versuche meine Trainings immer sehr methodisch anzugehen und schaue nicht nur auf Rundenzeiten, weil am Ende bringt es nichts, wenn man schnell ist, aber man kann das Auto nicht auf der Strecke halten. Renntrainings sind sehr effektiv, das mache ich sehr gerne mit Freunden und Kollegen in der Lounge. So kann man sich gegenseitig pushen und auch die Konstanz sehr gut trainieren. Man kann alle Szenarien abdecken und man weiß, was einen im Rennen erwartet. Man kann Zweikämpfe trainieren, man kann in der Dirty Air folgen und schauen, wie sich das Auto verhält in dem Rennen. Und man kann auch die Streckenbegrenzungen sehr gut trainieren, dass man im Rennen dann keine Strafen kassiert. Bisher läuft das Training gut, konnte meine Bestzeit nochmal steigern und schauen wir mal da oben, wo man sich noch verbessern kann, wie die Sektorzeiten sind. Also ich habe noch ein bisschen Arbeit vor mir.
And great to see Sinan there on the podium. It was fantastic, and I wonder if he's got his garden glove sponsorship. Yeah, there is Sinan with Sebastian Hirsch. And
he always has his gardening gloves there.
Any garden centre looking to get a face for their company? Contact Sinan de Merbas.
Yeah, new ambassador for gardening. But you know what I really like about if people in Munich have some podiums? Actually, the guy who celebrates the most is that year Konstantin.
Konstantin loves a good celebration on the podium. He's always, there we go.
It's like he won the race, so a lot of emotions coming from him. Obviously, he likes to see his drivers succeed. Sometimes nice to see, drivers showing some emotions.
Yeah.
Not everyone does, but, Konstantin is there to replace that.
All the time. Well, Fabio, thanks for joining us for Rush Hour. We'll speak to you a little later on in the programme as we now get ready to go racing and head down to our virtual grid.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. They make contact. Right into the gravel. So what's happened up front? Oh, it's chaos. They've gone deep. Oh, little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.
On the virtual grid now, 17th place, Dominik Dedic is the Croatian driver from Kemptol as we head into this race at Spa. It's going to be an interesting one to see what he can do from there. A mistake himself in the middle sector that's put him down to the back of the pack here in this one. What can he do from 17th place as he gets ready to go from there? Lining up just in front of him will be that of Sebastian Hirsch in P16. He's a man from Munich. Another mistake from him that cost him a few places down in P16. Sebastian will have work to do from there if he's to score some points. Alongside him, Michael Schmiedl, P15. The championship leader needs to get in the points if he's to keep hold of a big championship gap that he has at the moment. P15 for Michael Schmiedl. Previous race winner in P14 is that of Jan Teufen then. Can he repeat what he did at Catalonia? It's going to be hard from P14. Points will be his goal today, I'm sure. And for Jan, points mean prizes for him. P14 goes from Kemptol, the Swiss driver. Just in front of him is Florian Horser, P13. Can he use that master plan of Monza once again to score big points here, maybe get on the podium? It's 13th place for Florian. He's got work to do if he's getting them points. He's just outside them at the moment. Can he get a job on that top step, on the podium? Or will it just be points today for Florian? P12, though, is his fellow Munich teammate, or competitor, should I say, Angelo Michel. Championship contender, just needs a good result today to stay in contention of this championship. Michael Schmiedl needs to outscore him by 18 points, but for Angelo, it's a chance today to close that gap to Schmiedl and stay in there for Laguna Seca in the battle for glory. He has got work to do. Christoph Holstein will line up P11 in front of him. Race winner back at the Red Bull Ring. Can he get a second race win today? He is P11, just outside the top 10, the Swiss driver from Kemptol. As we then move inside the top 10, it's Kevin Aby, the Swiss driver in Kemptol as well. Inside the top 10, he's on the cusp of points, but can he keep hold of a point? He will be looking to get some work done today. He's a cool character in the cockpit, but can he keep hold of top 10? That'll be what he'll be looking to achieve today. The man to watch, Sinan Temerbas. He will be the one who goes from P9, that Turkish driver from Munich. We've just heard from him there. He will be going from P9. Sinan, little video. Did you enjoy that? Apologies, can't hear Sinan at the moment. We're going to get Sinan to you as soon as possible. There we go. Sinan, did you enjoy the little video that we had for you?
Yes, thank you. It was nice. first time doing something like that for me, but yeah, it was fun.
Gardening gloves ready, Sinan. Best of luck for the race.
Thank you, Matthew.
There he goes. P9 for Sinan Demirbas. The gloves are on. He's fully focused. Can he get another podium today? Loris Mistretta, the only penalty we saw here is down in P8. Demoted 2 places from 6th to 8th place. What can he do? The Italian driver in Kemptol. Can he work his way back up into that top 5 and in contention before David Seed is P7 in Madrid? And he'll be going after a promotion from P8 to 7th place due to Loris Mistretta's penalty. David Seed will be looking to score some points today, if not a podium. He's had a race win back at Silverstone. Can he get more points than another podium today? This man needs to score big. He's in that championship contention. He's P5 and P6 and well ahead of Michael Smeedle. He needs big points over his rivals today. Can Alejandro Sanchez do it? The man who made up 9 places in knockout, Enrique Marinon, is going from P5 in that top 5 on the cusp of a podium, and he has got some real good race pace as we saw in knockout. Can he achieve the top step today? And one man who will look to achieve the top step and keep hold of the top step is this man, Wojciech Plezny. A good knockout for him. Managed to avoid a bit of drama in front of him. He'll be wanting to go and get that race win that he didn't have at Catalonia. Can Wojciech today finally get the P1 and be on the top step of the podium through the rest of this race? David Ladomada, good knockout, P3. Can he score some points? Not yet on the point this season. Would love to get his first points as Ivan Kaufman goes in 2nd place. Real last minute dive at the chicane to get P2. And he did it well, but Kaufman goes from 2nd. And your pole sitter is the very poorly Ciro Zambra. Can he stay fit enough to last the 17 laps of Spa? Ciro Zambra, your pole sitter, can he win this race? We'll find out as the drivers will be lining up on the grid now, ready for their race. Ciro, we wish the best of luck. Obviously, he's very under the weather today, so he's got a lot of work to do if he is to maintain this race win. But he's a guy who's very quick, very confident and full of confidence since coming back from America, and is a man that could be one to watch in this race. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see what will happen as we then are about to go racing here. They was held quite a while yesterday. They're going to be held quite a while today, I imagine. It's very quiet on the start grid so far. Very, very long hold at the moment as the revs start to rise a little bit. Still no lights on screen yet. And still no chance for drivers to move. The lights still not on. And this is a very, very long wait for the drivers here. A very, very long wait. As they're all lined up on the grid, ready to go. There is Alejandro Sanchez. He's going from P6. He's got work to do. Drivers still putting some revs on. The lights here on the screen now. We're yet to go red, which means we're ready to go racing. Excuse me. Here come the red lights now. We're about to be green and go. The 8th race of the season. It's a long hold, and it's green and go now for Challenge 8 here in the race league at Spa. Good start though from Kaufman on the 2nd place through the grid, and Ladomada looking on the inside. Bit of contact between Ladomada and Ciro Zambra. Everybody comes out okay, and there's a spinner, is that? I believe someone was very wide. It's a wiggle there for Plezny. Sanchez has gone from 6th to 3rd, already in turn 1. He's on an absolute mission on the back of Ladomada. Down Kemmel straight. Ciro goes to defend early. Ladomada in the slipstream. Sanchez in the slipstream of Ladomada. Now in the slipstream of Ciro Zambra. Up the inside at the comms. He's going to have the outside for the second part. And Ladomada clips him, and Ladomada's round. Sanchez P2, Plezny P3, and Ladomada stationary as he waits for everybody to come through. Christoph Holstein was the car off at the start of the race, so a disastrous start for Christoph Holstein. Smeedle's made no improvements at the minute. He stayed P15, but Sanchez already the big winner in P2. There is Christoph. 4 seconds off the back of Smeedle already. He's got work to do in this race. Angelo Mikel moves up P8. Jan Teufel gets ahead of Kevin Aby for P11, so he's now on the cusp of points. Smeedle moves ahead of Sebastian Hirsch. He's on the charge. Less drivers on the grid means the quicker Smeedle can get through to the points. There is Angelo Mikel. He needs a big day if he's to hang on in this championship. He'll mathematically still be in it. Who's that? Who's a spinner? I believe it's Teufel. Your previous race winner is around. Not sure if that was all on his own or not, but Jan Teufel now behind Christoph Holstein. And Smeedel now moves up to 13th place, and it's chaos. Here's another driver off at the chicane. Who's that tumbling down the order? I think it's Marignon. He's down to 14th place, so Enrique Marignon's had a moment at the chicane, and it is dramas on the opening lap here at Spa. Well, he gained 9 places in knockout. He needs to gain another 9 to get some points here, and good points at that. Enrique Marignon down the order, Smeedel picking up places, hand over fist. He's up to 12th now. David Seed got Sinan de Murbas on the him, and Alejandro Sanchez has taken the lead of this race from Ciro Zambra. And David Seed gets past Sinan de Murbas. Easy as you like. Ciro, though, well, he may be under the weather, but he's fighting Sanchez hard here. Ciro back in the lead. Pellegrini watches on. It's Kemptol from Madrid, from Munich. 3 loungers, 3 different drivers and 3 different driving styles. So it's going to be interesting to see what Sanchez can do here. Can Pellegrini put Sanchez under pressure to help Smeedel and Mikel out in this championship fight? Kaufman's not far behind in 4th. David Seed's now obviously up to 5th place. Angelo Mikel's in 7th. David Ladomada's in the pits here. So I don't know if David Ladomada has retired from this race. We'll hopefully get confirmation of that one. Marignon fighting hard with Sebastian Hirsch now. 14th place still. Here is Enrique Marignon on the front wing camera. Lovely camera shot today. But it's Sanchez, half a second behind Ciro Zambra. Ciro said he's 2 or 3 tenths slower than his best because of him being under the weather. Well, he doesn't look like he is at the moment, but I tell you what, he's going to be one tired man after this race. David Seed, fastest lap of the session, the only man to dip into the 41s. Sanchez watching on. Valverde watching over the shoulders of Sanchez. Should have given him one of your headbands, Marcus. Because Sanchez is feeling the heat here. Push to pass up the Camel straight. Already pulls to the outside. Ciro doesn't even defend that one. He lets Sanchez get it done. He knew that Sanchez used push to pass there. You saw the difference in speed, and Ciro will fight another day. They're just starting to gap Wojciech Pellegrini. Six tenths already separating them, so Sanchez putting good pace on show here. Ciro Zambra, 2nd place at the moment. Will now need to work hard to get that race lead back. He does, though, have that one usage of push to pass over Alejandro Sanchez available. Here's Florian Horser down in 10th place. Marignon still 14th. Where's Smeedel? Smeedel's worked his way up to 9th, so he's quietly gone under the radar into the points. Sneaky little devil, missed that one. 9th place on the back of Loris Mastretta now as well. And he's got Angelo Mikel not far in front of him. But for Marignon, well, he's got to start making places up sooner rather than later. He's not used a single usage of his push to pass, so he's saving it, as is Holstein. Saving it for a very interesting part of the circuit, or later on in the race, that is for sure. Ladomada still pits, so he is well out of this one. David Seed now gets past Kaufman. That is P4 and 5 for David Seed at the bus stop chicane. So Seed through, little wiggle on the exit though, and Kaufman trying to come back at him, cannot do so. He's going to look up the inside at the source as he... And Kaufman gets that place back, yes. I believe he has, they're still side by side. And Seed, the yellow car on the outside. Kaufman will have the outside now for the first part of Eau Rouge. Backs out that bit of a lift on the entry. Bit more of a lift up the Eau Rouge, and now here comes Sinan de Murbas. Uses push to pass, so does Seed, so does Kaufman. Ciro Zambra uses one to try and get back on Sanchez. And de Murbas gets past Kaufman, tries to run the outside of Seed, can't get it done. Now has to defend a little bit, and his run was compromised through the comp. Manages to hang on. Kaufman's fighting back though, and de Murbas has Kaufman on the inside. And now Mikel's going to go around the outside. There's de Murbas, a little blockade at the moment. And Angelo Mikel gets that place from Kaufman here then. Smeedel got past Mastretta, he's up to 8th, so Smeedel's on the back of this fight. But Mikel trying to stay in this championship battle at the moment. And that's Smeedel who's got past Kaufman in the background now, so Smeedel moves his way up to 7th place. Championship leader on a charge. Sanchez 1.4 in the lead, he's got 7 seconds gap to himself and Smeedel. Championship points at the moment really taking a turn But Smeedle quietly going about his business at the moment. If it stays as it is, Alejandro Sanchez scores 25 points. Smeedle will only gain 6. That will really close this championship up here as we're on board Smeedle. Coming towards the final chicane, you've got Mikel trying to attack de Murbas. And look at the closing speed of Smeedle into the chicane under braking. Really does try and use it to his advantage. Smeedle's on 104 points, let's not forget, before today's race. So that extra 6 points he gets put him on 110. The 25 that Alejandro Sanchez puts him on will put him on 104. So there will be 6 points in it between Sanchez and Smeedle at the moment. For Angelo Mikel as well, he's gaining 8 points, so he's gaining 2 points over. That'll put him on to 80, still mathematically in contention. Maybe not now, because he gains another place, and so does Smeedle. They both put pressure on de Murbas, and Smeedle's going to look to the outside of the com, and Angelo Mikel gets the move done. Fantastic stuff from the championship leader there. 2 into 1. Great move from Smeedle. De Murbas coming back at Angelo Mikel. Well, that changes the championship a lot now. Smeedle up to 5th gives him 10 points. That'll put him on 114. That'll give him 10. The gap will be 10 to him and Sanchez going into Laguna Seca as it stands at the moment. But he's 9 tenths off the back of David Seed. What will Seed's tactic be here? Will he be looking to help Sanchez out or get as good a result as possible? This is what we like about the lounges, being sort of a family-friendly lounge. Do they help their colleagues out at this stage of the season? Holstein's got past Kevin Abbey. Marignon's moved his way up to P12. Sebastian Hirsch still down in 13th. Florian Horser in the points. Dedic trying to get on the back of him. We're on board, though, with Kaufman. 4 tenths off the back of de Murbas. Smeedle here, still sticking with that same tactic of using push to pass very early in the race and being the first guy to really sort of drain his battery. Will that work in the later stages of this race, though? Pelezny's the car in front of him. Sorry, no, David Seed's the car in front of him. Name was missing on the list here. Half a second is that gap. Here's Florian Horser. 6 usages left. He's got Dedic 7 tenths behind him. He's 7.5 tenths behind Mistretta as they come up El Rouge. Lovely view on the helicopter cam down the Kemmel Straight. Marignon has actually got past Dedic behind, and Hirsch has lost out to Holstein, so Marignon now on the cusp of points. Here's Kaufman looking back to Loris Mistretta then. Oh, bit of a lock-up for Mistretta behind. That'll interest Florian Horser. He's not close enough to make a move at the moment. Pelezny within a second of Ciro Zambra. Both have 6 usages of push to pass left. Sanchez has moved to 2.1 seconds out front. Smeedle still within half a second of David Seed, as Holstein now gets past Dominic Dedic. So Holstein trying to come forward into the points as well. Championship leader Michael Smeedle, 5th place at the moment. David Seed just there in front of him, half a second the gap. Not using push to pass as they come towards Blanchimont now. Will be gaining slightly just under that slipstream of David Seed. They'll only be picking up a slight little toe there. And again under the braking, the closing speed of Smeedle. This is what separates him from the rest in this Racer League. 3 tenths he's found over David Seed last lap. As Angelo Mikel, de Murbas, Kaufman and Horser do personal bests last time around. It is that closing speed that is the difference between David Seed and Michael Smeedle at the moment. It's fantastic to see. Up El Rouge now. How could you run through here? Slingshot your way through Radion. He does indeed. He pulls to the left. He's going to be past David Seed. He's used both of his last usages of push to pass. He's got to go the rest of the race without any now. But Smeedle moves into 4th. That's an extra 2 points for him. But he's now got to pull away from the Spaniard, who's got 5 usages left. At the moment, Angelo Mikel losing points to the championship leader. And he's losing so far 4 points. It's not the 18 to be eliminated, but it will be miracle needed at Laguna Seca in the battle for glory. Bit of a wiggle from Mistretta up front ahead of Horser. Marignon now on the back of Florian Horser, so he's got to attack and defend here. As Marignon, 9 places he gained in knockout. Well, he's gained 3 in the race at the moment to put him back to where he once was on the grid. Climbing the standings in this race to score some points, take home some prize money as well. Florian Horser right on the gearbox now of Loris Mistretta up front. Mistretta uses push to pass to just keep him ahead of Florian Horser into the chicane or line of stern. No places gained or lost for anybody there. Sanchez 3.1 in the lead of this race. He's just controlling it at the moment. Bit of a wiggle through the source there for Horser. That'll interest Marignon a little bit. Every slight movement on Horser's car will interest Marignon now. Can he get a slingshot up through Radion? He can. Can he do what Smeedle did to David Seed? He pulls that left-hand side. Mistretta uses push to pass. Bit of contact between the pair of them there. And Mistratta's going to look up the inside of Kaufman, who leaves the door open slightly. But Mistretta didn't take advantage of that. And Horser still watching on. Mistretta, that's a couple of usages of push to pass for him. Here's Marignon looking around the outside of Horser in the rear mirror, but cannot get it done. This is looking back from Kaufman's car. You see there Mistretta, Horser, Marignon, Holstein, all coming for him. Lap 8 to 17. Smeedle, the only driver who's used all his push to pass. The next closest driver is Mistretta with 3, and Aby with 3 usages left. Marignon knows that that's a couple of points in front of him for his championship. Fighting for that P4 spot, really. Top 3 look like they're going to be sorted sooner rather than later. Fighting for 4th place in the championship. For a bit more prize money for Enrique Marignon to the outside of Blanchimont. Brave round here. Gets it done. Can he get it done on the brakes? Maybe look at Kaufman as well. No, he can't. But he gets past Mistretta. Gets past Horser, sorry. That's Mistretta in front, apologies. And a good move round the outside at Blanchimont there. And I don't believe he used push to pass. He's still got 6 usages left to his name. Sebastian Hirsch, personal best. And a DNF, it now says, for David Ladamada. So after a good knockout session, it is not the race for him. Sanchez 3.7 in the lead. Polezny's gap to Smeedle is down to 1.3. Now here comes Marignon on Mistretta. Gets the run up through El Rouge and round. Mistretta uses push to pass. Marignon now uses a later push to pass. Mistretta tries to close the door, but Marignon's there. Inside for Lecombs. Oh, you can't turn in anymore, Loris. And they managed to somehow get away with that, without both of them or one of them being spun around. And that was borderline too aggressive from Loris Mistretta there. He did it to David Seed, if you remember, in knockout. And now he's done it to Enrique Marignon. Borderline car's width, I'd imagine that. The race control will look at that one, and Marignon will not be too best pleased. He's in the point so at the minute, and it's 1 point to his name. Sanchez 4.1 in the lead of this race. Wojciech Polezny, I have to say his form has really started to turn around the back end this season. He's been fighting for more podiums. On the cusp of that weekend ban, he would have got -2 points on his licence for a clean knockout. So we'll want to avoid any incidents here today. Sanchez, personal best. Here's Holstein on the back of Horser now. Hirsch has moved up to 13th. Holstein still with 7 usages left of push to pass. So he's got a chance here. Marignon still on the back of Mistretta. Horser got a bit of a better exit than Marignon. Looked like he was going to attack him, but doesn't. Until the source they come once again. Mistretta, Marignon, Horser, Holstein, Hirsch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up through Radion. Marignon now looks to the outside once again of Mistretta. I think he's tucked back in once more. He has. Goes to the outside now for Lecombs. Is he going to try around the outside? He is. Outside, inside. This time he gets it finished. Oh, and a tap! Horser on Mistretta. A tap in the background has sent Mistretta off into the gravel. Oh, watch the redrawing, Loris. There we go. And that is his race pretty much over for Loris Mistretta there. Teufel and Dedic get past him, so did Kevin Aby. That puts Horser back into the top 10. Holstein now in 11th. And now for Marignon, he can hunt down after Kaufman. Speaking of hunting down, this man. chasing after his fellow Czech driver, Wojciech Polezny. Michael Smeedel here on an absolute mission. No push to pass, he's not had it for ages. Polezny's pulled to the side. Is he gifting this place to Smeedel? He has indeed. Wojciech Polezny has pulled over and allowed Smeedel through. Smeedel moves on to the podium. And that'll give him 15 points, so he'll only lose 10 points to Sanchez in this race at the moment. So for Wojciech Polezny there, he has given this third place to Smeedel. And now Smeedel can hunt after Ciro Zambra, who's got 6 usages of push to pass left. That gap is just over 1 second. It's 1.5. Polezny's P4. Angelo Mikel, 6th place to David Seed at the moment. Well, tactics maybe in Munich for these drivers. We said, will the racing lounges help each other out? They certainly are. And for Smeedel to only lose 10 points, that could be huge going into Laguna. Because at the minute, the gap is a good 26 points. And gaining 10, I'll only put it down to 16, 15 points, should I say. So for Smeedel, 15 points with 50 to play for after Laguna. It could all be done, or it could go to the battle for glory. Enrique Marignon now up to 9th on the back of Kaufman. He's really on a charge today. Marignon's had some good pace. If it wasn't for an earlier incident, he'd have possibly been fighting for a podium today, would Marignon. Sanchez crosses the line to start lap 12. Hirsch on the back of Olshin. There's a bit of a queue here behind Kaufman, all the way down to Hirsch. It's Marignon, the first man to try and attack the back of Kaufman here. Took half a second out of him on the last lap. Into the source. Big lock up there from Ivan Kaufman. And a big wiggle on exit for Enrique Marignon. Keep hold of it, Enrique. Up through Eau Rouge, he's lost a lot of momentum then. This time around, Smeedel's within a second now of Ciro Zambra. Ciro's still got a lot of usages of push to pass left though, so he's still got a lot of time to defend against Smeedel with push to pass and keep hold of this podium. And David Seed's just not been able to go with Smeedel. Smeedel gained on Polezny so quick, and Seed's not been able to go with him. And now championship leader, defending champion Smeedel. Second place, he's hunting down. That is Ciro Zambra in front, P2. We know Ciro is under the weather today. A little ill. He is the one who can now stop Smeedel gaining second place. He uses push to pass on his way down towards Blanchimont. Wojciech Polezny uses a push to pass as well. And that's just opened the gap up a slight little bit to Smeedel, up to 7/10. But it is that closing speed under braking for Smeedel that really is the difference between himself and Ciro Zambra at the moment. Obviously we know Ciro a couple of tenths down because of his illness, but it just shows how much of a quality driver this man is. Down towards Eau Rouge. Flicks it left and right, and back left again. Polezny sticking with him, but the question is will Polezny attack Smeedel if the chance comes? Angelo Mikel trying to chase down David Seed. Through Lecombs goes Smeedel. A bit of a wiggle there for Ciro Zambra. Enrique Marignon up the inside at Lecombs, his favourite overtaking place today. Kemmel straight. That's another one. Up to P8, so he's gained 6 places in the race since his moment earlier. Sanchez has got no more push to pass left. He's 7 seconds ahead of Ciro, 7.5 ahead of Smeedel. And Kaufman now down to 9th, but has got that trainer car still right behind him. It's Florian Horst, so the next car to attack him. Lap 13 of 17 here. Ciro Zambra looking back from him towards that of Smeedle. He uses push to pass once again, same place he did last time. Gap 6/10. By the time his push to pass ends, gap opens up to 7/10. So Zero really starting to use his push to pass now, and it's Challenger League champion versus Racer League champion. Let's not forget. Zero was your champion, and what has happened to Christoph Holstein through Blanchimont? A big off there and into the side of the wall. Hirsch and Aby get through. He was in the battle with that of Kaufmann, Horser and Sebastian Hirsch. But for Holstein, it's down to P13. Smeedle, no push to pass. Hasn't had it for most of this race, to be fair. At least half the race. He's not had push to pass. And he's just so fast on his natural pace. He believes himself and backs himself that much that he comes through the right-hander. Now to No Name, flicks it left, right on the gearbox of Rosambra's Kemptal RU23 car. Using as much curb as he possibly can. Really gaining now. Ciro, though, still with 4 usages left of push to pass. We know that for Ciro could help him just keep that gap between himself and Smeedle. Will Ciro use it on the exit of this corner here? This is where he's been using it before. He does again. Uses push to pass once more. That's just going to pull him away a little bit. How relaxed he is. One hand on the wheel through Blanchimont there enough there. So Ciro opens that gap back up to 8/10. What can Smeedle do now to get these gaps down? And to put pressure on Ciro. Ciro does his personal best of the race. Behind, by the way, Florian Horser looks like he's got past Kaufmann. As de Merbas and Marignon do their personal best, as does Florian Horser. Here is your race leader, though. Don't know if you forgot he was here today, but Alejandro Sanchez. 7.1 in the lead. And you cannot tell a race driver to back off at all. He'll be giving it absolutely full beans till the end of this race. Well, Alejandro Sanchez, you can put your money on that one. Smeedle within half a second down the Kemmel straight. Marignon's got past de Merbas. Kaufmann's got back out of Horser, but it's Smeedle trying to get past Ciro Zambra. Gap back down to 4/10. We know that Ciro's been using his push to pass at the back end of this lap. Smeedle's as close now as he's been all race to Ciro Zambra. Gaining. Ciro is Michael Smeedle. Four-tenths of a second. It's the closest he's been, but Ciro will use push to pass, we imagine. Not just yet, just after this little right-hander. It's half a second now. That gap comes down as push to pass for Ciro Zambra and Wojciech Polezny. For Polezny, what does he do if he gets back on the rear end of Smeedle? Does he attack him, or is he just sitting rear guard and being his rear gunner? Gap back up to 8/10. Smeedle to Ciro. Gap back down to 6/10 as Sebastian Hirsch gets past Florian Horser now, and Hirsch moves into the points. That in the background is David Seed and Angelo Mikel, who are going tooth and nail as well. Enrique Marignon, personal best for him. Here is Sebastian Hirsch past Florian Horser. And it's his turn to try and attack Kaufmann now. Holstein, personal best lap of the race. Hirsch, no push to pass. Aby, no push to pass. David Seed uses one to defend from Angelo Mikel out of La Source. Sebastian Hirsch up the hill. Onto the Kemmel straight. No push to pass. It's all pure pace for Hirsch. Over Kaufmann. Stays behind at the moment. Lap 16 and 17, penultimate lap of the race here. And for Ciro Zambra, it's been a well-managed second place this. Tactically saved his push to pass till the end. Smeedle still within that 4/10 of a second, but we know that Zambra's getting to the point of the lap where he uses his push to pass. He has played such a brilliant tactical game. Kaufmann as well. What a defensive drive for Kaufmann today. There is Ciro. He used push to pass again. Gaps back up to 8 tenths. It seems that Smeedle gets it down to 4 tenths. And Ciro can open that gap back up to 8 tenths. Well, Smeedle needs the lap of his life here if he is to get a second place. It does look like it's going to be a podium for Smeedle. That one does look like it'll happen. And it does mean a 10-point switcheroo at the moment between Smeedle and Sanchez. 7 tenths of a second, 8 tenths of a second back to Wojciech Peležny. Sanchez 7.9 out front. David Seed has put a gap between him and Mikel, but there's a lot of places to use push to pass, and there's still a lot of drivers with a fair usage of push to pass left to go. 7 tenths to gap, Smeedle to Ciro Zambra. 6 tenths now. Smeedle has to be aware, or has to possibly think, that Ciro's got a push to pass at hand. Hirsch and Horser are having a battle. That's for the final point in this race. Within 4 tenths. But he's been in this position at this part of the circuit a lot before. Mastretta's got past Dedic for 15th and 16th. Dedic gets back in front. I think this is game over for Smeedle. He's the same distance he has been to Ciro all race at the moment. And we know that Ciro Zambra is going to use his final usage of push to pass now. And that'll be game over for Smeedle. Ciro's just got to get Blanchimon and the chicane absolutely nailed as that gap opens up. But this man, what a dominant drive for Alejandro Sanchez, who is going to win his second race of the season. Alejandro Sanchez wins at Spa. Ciro Zambra will be the next one to the line. And he hangs on in there over Smeedle, who comes home third. Wojciech Peležny P4. David Seed, he'll be ecstatic with that, not too well. Be very happy. David Seed P5. Angelo Mikel P6. Good points. Losers points though to Smeedle. Marignon P7. What could have been for him in this race? P8 for Sinan Demirbaş. More points for Sinan. P9 for Kuffman. Hung on in there at the end. Sebastian Hirsch takes P10. We know David Ladamada was P17, DNF'd at the end. So Smeedle provisionally scores 15 points. For Angelo Mikel, it was P6. He scores 8. Meaning that the gap was 7 points. So Mikel will still mathematically be in this championship fight going to Laguna Seca, albeit nearly over, because he needed to be outscored by 18 points or more in that race. So Sanchez, your race winner here then. Oh, a fantastic race it was indeed. And there is Ciro Zambra. You can just see, somebody get that man a bottle of water. I take it he could do with one. Yeah, he looks hot in that cockpit, sweating. Poor Ciro there, who was under the weather all day. I've just been told that Smeedle was involved in a big crash at Eau Rouge. Lucky to get P3, so I hope we see that on the replays, because that'll be an interesting one to take a look at. But Smeedle there gaining some points. It was fantastic to see. We're joined back by Fabio. Interesting race there. David Ladamada didn't finish. Peležny allowing Smeedle to take the podium. It had everything.
It had everything. It had big crashes also in the beginning of the race. Yeah. Hopefully we're going to see that. But all in all, masterful drive by Alejandro. Well deserved. Yeah. Also well done to Ciro P2 with his tonsillitis, I believe. Yeah. And then Smeedle. Yeah, I've seen the crash actually in Eau Rouge that happened in the first lap. I don't know how he managed to be in P3, but well done to him as well.
We'll take a look at that hopefully in the replays. It is, though, 10 points that Sanchez gains over Smeedle at this stage of the season. Obviously, we have to talk championships because it's at that business end. 10 points. So Smeedle gains, I believe it was 12. It gains 15. So that puts him on 119 points. Puts Alejandro Sanchez on 104.
Yep.
So the gap down to 15 points in the championship. Yep. With 50 left up for grabs. Obviously, this is all provisional at the moment. This is without final classification coming through. When we get final classification, and if the podium stays as it is, it could be 15 points going into Laguna. That is a big chunk of points that Sanchez has got back today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's the result he wanted for several races now. He had some bad luck along the way. It's the only thing he can do really now in the championship is winning those races and hope for Smeedle not to finish very high up.
The interesting thing as well is, if that result stays as it is, that'll be 2 wins apiece for Smeedle and for Sanchez, meaning that the level on race wins, 14 points in it. It's really going down to the wire. We see Challenger League Yannick starting to stretch a gap out over his competitors. Today, Sanchez has done the opposite and has really made this championship fight now go down to the wire.
Yeah, and it's what we want. It's what the public wants. Hopefully it's going down the wire in the secret track, actually, in the Battle for Glory, when we invite the top 3 drivers of the season actually to the Munich lounge. So they will, face off, maybe shake hands, who knows? I don't know if they get into a fight. Who knows? I'm not those guys, but it's going to be great to see how they battle it out if the decision is made, obviously, in the Battle for Glory.
And it will be an interesting one to see as well. Obviously, the Battle for Glory, 13th of January. Laguna Seca, 8th and 9th of December. Qualification period opens in 9 days' time, the 27th of November till the 6th of December. For the drivers who want to compete in the Challenger League, head over to one of our racing lounges in Zurich, Kemptal, Calm, Madrid or Munich to get signed up, get registered and try and participate in what will be the last chance to qualify for a race this season.
Indeed, yeah, because the Battle for Glory will be a different format. It's not going to be knockout and then the race. So the best 20 drivers of the championship qualify for the Battle for Glory, and it's going to be a more like traditional qualifying format where the fastest guys start at the front.
And that could be interesting going into this championship fight. So top 3 at the minute, all provisional. We wait to see that. Good drive though from Angelo Michel as well, the 3rd driver in this championship battle. Lost points to his rivals today, hanging on in there just, but a good drive for a P6. Did well, just couldn't get through the pack as quick as Smeedle and Sanchez.
I believe he was held up. Sometimes there were some crashes and he was at the wrong place actually. Yeah, just didn't work out that well for him. He had the pace actually. He was very, very quick in the trainings. Yeah. The guys obviously finished in the front there, so he loses more points. I don't know how many points he's now behind.
So I think he loses. So he finished 6th. He'll gain 8 points. So he's lost 7 points to Smeedle. So Smeedle needed to outscore him by 18.
Okay.
That'll be pretty much 11.
It's going to be hard for him, I guess, then for the championship. But he's not giving up. But in the end, it will result in the top 3 potentially.
It looks like he's going to solidify that top 3 position. Obviously, with Marignon not scoring very well today, neither did Sebastian Hirsch. It looks like Mikel could solidify that P3, which is what he'll want. Obviously, live pictures from our Kemptal lounges. Loris Mastretta and Kaufman chatting with Yannick Pletcher. We saw Christoph Holstein there just chatting away with another driver. Didn't quite make out who that was. There's Munich, where we've got Pelezny, middle of the room with Walter Troninger, and at the closest table, Florian Horser, Sinan Demirbas and Sebastian Hirsch. All debrief. I imagine Smeedle's still in his cockpit, whichever cockpit he was in. He's still probably in the cockpit. Ready, obviously, to wait to be told if he's got an interview or not. Great start. Let's talk about the start of the race, because it was a great start for Sanchez. He qualified P6 and at the top of Radion onto the Camel Straight, he was P3 right on the back of David Ladamada and Ciro Zambra. That's the exact start he would have wanted to this race.
Yeah, it worked out well for him. Where did he start, you say?
P6.
P6, yeah, P3 then, and after the Camel Straight, after the S's there, he was in P2. And after that, it was plain sailing, actually. I believe, Ciro knew that he didn't have the pace to hold Sanchez back, so that's why he didn't really defend, even though he had also pushed the pass available. So well managed by both of them. They potentially knew, okay, this can end in a podium, and this is what happened. So.
And the tactic for Ciro Zambra we saw with Florian Horser back at Monza. He saved his push pass to the end, got on the podium. Ciro today, under the weather, he said in the interview at Pole Sitter, he's 2 or 3 tenths off his best times. Mm-hmm. Tactically, to keep his 7 usages of push to pass to the end, because Smeedle got within 4 tenths every lap, but then the gap opened up to 8 tenths every time Ciro used his push to pass.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was, holding Pelezny back, and he saw that he couldn't really get close to him. So he knew, okay, maybe I'm just saving it for the end of the race, and this is what he did, and he did it brilliantly, and well-deserved P2.
Hats off to Polesny, provisional P4. Good race for him. Obviously he's sort of had a good bit of form recently. He seems to be fighting more podiums in the last couple of races. Penalties have cost him, but he seems to be there or thereabouts on the podium.
Yeah, he has the pace. He just needs the clean races, the fair races. He didn't really fight for P3, which I'm a bit annoyed by, but there's nothing in the rules that states, you're not allowed to give up positions. I like to see drivers fight for that because there is prize money involved. And also we would like to have a show, right? And have two people from the Czech Republic going against each other would have been nice to see because they're very quality drivers. We didn't see that, but it's the way it is.
Is this the stage of the season where we see these racing lounges now start to maybe work with each other? Obviously, two Czech drivers there, Polesny helping Smeedl out to gain a couple more points. Is it this stage of the season where, if Marignon's at the front, he can possibly help Sanchez a little bit? Drivers can help Mikel and Smeedl?
I don't know. You have to ask the drivers. We've seen it today. Yes, maybe, potentially. Not sure if it would happen if the guys are, driving for a race win.
Yeah.
So maybe, P3, P4, the gap of the prize money is not that huge, but if it's for $3,500 US, what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is Munich, and they'll be getting ready, hopefully, for a podium celebration. It's a podium celebration at all three racing lounges. And as well, actually, this is a good one, Madrid's first win in their new racing lounge.
Yeah, indeed. Well done to Madrid.
Well done to Madrid. Because they've had podium with Valverde and podium the week before. And we can confirm at the moment, there is still protest times being had at the moment, but so far, nothing under race control for 1, 2 and 3. So it depends on protests. So we're still under that protest window. We can, though, speak to Michael Smeedl, who I know you'd have made my son's day by getting on the podium, because he's a big fan of yours. So congratulations on the P3.
Well, thank you very much. My race was basically affected, let's say, in lap 1. Before Eau Rouge, there was a huge chant. For whatever reason, the car in the middle just suddenly turned into me, so nothing I could do. But after that, it was just a fight back and, damage limitation. Yeah.
Damage limitation. You obviously lose 10 points to Sanchez, but still have, at the moment, a 15-point lead in this championship going into the last 2 rounds. Is that a good enough gap for you, or would you have liked it to have been more?
I don't know, to be honest, but I'm 100% sure that Laguna Seca is going to be a huge clown show, that's for sure. And obviously, I'm good with my adaptation, so I can perform well in Battle for Glory. So yeah, let's see. I don't know.
Let's see. Obviously, Laguna Seca coming up next time out. Going to be an interesting race, nonetheless. The corkscrew will be fascinating to see.
Well, it's a great track. I know it from, I think, 1999 when I was. When I had it on PlayStation 1, Gran Turismo 2. So, yeah, it's a lovely track, but not great for these sort of cars, to be honest.
Well, Michael, we wish you the best of luck for Laguna Seca. Congratulations on P3.
Thanks.
Clearly not happy with the incident at Eau Rouge earlier on. Obviously, every driver wants the championship lead to extend, not to reduce. But he can be happy with P3, especially if the crash was, and you wrote down on my notepad, lucky to get P3, incredible. So it must have been a big one. So he's got to be pleased with P3.
He's never pleased. Obviously, he wants to win, right?
Yeah.
But looking at what happened in Eau Rouge, he can be happy, but he's here to win. He's not there to finish in P2 or P3 or wherever.
Well, here's a man who'll be very, very happy. I'm sure that his cockpit is not the place he wants to be in at the minute. A bit hot and sweaty, Ciro?
Yeah, it's very hot. I'm already happy to go home and go into my bed, but I don't know how I did this. I was really lacking of pace today. My pace wasn't good and I knew it. So the only thing I could do is have a good strategy, and it worked out in the end with the push process. Yes.
Yeah, worked out with the push to passes. Was that your tactic? Let Sanchez go at the beginning and try and hang on at the end?
Yeah, I mean, Sanchez was right behind me after the start, so I knew I couldn't hold him over 17 laps, and it would have costed me too many push to passes and too much time. So I thought, yeah, just let him go and focus on P2, and well, it worked out.
We go to Laguna Seca in 3 weeks' time. Obviously, you've just come from America, so I'm sure you'd like to get a race win on American soil next time out.
Of course, but Laguna's gonna be chaos, I think. A lot of crashes probably with the course crew. It's gonna be an interesting race, definitely. Also interesting challenger race. I will be hyped for it to watch, but to drive it myself, I don't know yet.
Well, Ciro, we'll let you get some rest. Go and get a good afternoon's sleep, and hopefully you're better for Laguna Seca, Ciro. Well done today on provisional P2.
Thank you, Matthew.
Very under the weather there. I imagine that knockout was hard. I imagine that 17 laps defending from the championship leader.
He's happy to go home. And I guess the lounge employees need to disinfect the simulator before any viruses got spread around.
Clean it, wipe it down, disinfect it. I think he'll be more happy to see his bed than more happy to see his trophy.
Maybe, yeah.
One man who'll probably be more happy to see his trophy is this man, Alejandro Sanchez, provisional winner at the moment. That was an incredible race.
Yeah, it was quite easy, to be fair. I had luck in T1 for once, and yeah, I was P3, and I don't know when I overtook P2, but then I was just waiting to have a clean pass on zero, and just after that trying to run away as much as possible. And yeah, I was looking more at the relative than anything, to be fair, to see where Smidl was and what was the points difference after this race. But yeah, it doesn't help that some people let other people by, so in the end he finished P3. Quite a nice recovery drive, to be fair. So yeah, we'll see in Laguna Seca what happens.
Congrats, Alejandro. This is Fabio. As you said, easy win, plain sailing. You're in the front. Doesn't it get boring for you if you're having a lead? You know, you have the pace. You were obviously not 100% pushing. Is there, things to do while you drive around? Are there any monitors where you look to watch the stream, or just focus on not do any mistakes and bring it home in the end?
Yeah, I was a bit bored. I prefer races where I have to make overtakes and stuff. So yeah, as I said, I was looking more at the relative than anything. I couldn't really watch the push to pass that everyone had left in the stream or anything like that, because I couldn't see the stream at all on this computer. Well, on this rig. So yeah, I was just keeping an eye on the relative and trying to have a relatively good pace. But as you said, I wasn't pushing because I spun out in Pujon a couple times in warm up, so I didn't want to repeat that while being on the lead. So yeah, I was taking it.
Alejandro, the gap's down to 15 points as it stands at the moment in the championship. Obviously, you've took a lot of points out of Michael Smidl today. 15 points with 2 races left. It's game on.
I mean, theoretically, yes, but you never know. Every race is different, and you could have a strike of bad luck or good luck. So yeah, we'll just see. I don't really have any expectations as such, because Laguna Seca is very hard overtaking, and the Battle for Glory, we don't know where it will be. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Well, Alejandro, congratulations on provisional P1 for the time being. Well done today. We'll see you at Laguna Seca. So 2 happy drivers. I say 2 happy drivers. One happy driver that wants to go to sleep, and Michael Smidl, who finished P3 but was disgruntled.
But is he actually happy or looks happy when he wins? I mean, it doesn't show much emotion.
He's had a face.
Doesn't show much emotion, but I mean, ultimately the goal for Smidl is the championship, and he's on the way to that. Except this man has something against it. And as all of the drivers said, it's going to be mayhem in Laguna Seca. But it's nice to have some different tracks. It's a very short track.
It's the one I've been looking forward to.
Shortest track on the calendar. It's going to be very, very hard to overtake, I agree. But yeah, it's part of the calendar. Drivers need to adjust. It's going to be fun for us. It's not going to be too much fun for them. But
That's
it's
what makes
same as Monaco, right? Monaco is not fun for the drivers.
Exactly. This is what makes great racing. It's not about all the overtaking and everything. It's sometimes to do with the strategy. With push to pass this year, that's the biggest strategy you have of when you can use it. Here is some of the replays, though. This is Wojciech Peležný at the start of the race. So Wojciech's going from P4, the second red car on the left-hand side. That is Alejandro Sanchez directly behind him. And it's a good launch for Peležný. Up the inside. Oh, it gets very tight.
David is doing the Max Verstappen, very late on the brakes. Peležný loses some momentum because of being out in the AstroTurf.
Yeah.
One car goes wide. And race control, we look at that for sure.
And I wonder if that's then where the collision...
No, it was further behind.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Now we're in lap one, it was with the Smeedle incident. So hopefully we can...
It was Smeedle, Holstein, and don't remember the other one, but there were 3 abreast.
But you saw...
3 into a Rouge.
No,
doesn't work.
No, two barely works.
Everyone knows that.
It was a good start, though, from Sanchez. You saw the orange car, Peležný in another one off wide. Sanchez through, and all of a sudden he finds himself up Eau Rouge right on the rear wing of Ladamada and Ciro Zambra. So, how many times this year has Sanchez been in that incident? And this time he wasn't. This is Michael Smeedle's start then. It's an all right getaway. It's nothing electric. Brakes early.
No need to take any risks.
No. As it funnels into turn 1, now we head up towards Eau Rouge, avoiding cars. Oh, the pit wall's come in. Oh, dear. Wow, that was close.
This one now here.
And now he's 3 wide. He's bouncing off of cars and gets tapped around by...
Lucky to be driving towards the right direction then, right? I mean, where was he here? Second to last. And still finished in P3. I mean, as he said, damage limitations.
Damage limitations, good damage limitations as well. Obviously, that's one that race control, we don't believe are looking at anything. We believe they look just the protests that we was awaiting coming in. So we're not sure if any have come in. Obviously, drivers have 20 minutes at the end of the race to put protests in. This is Ladamada on Sanchez. This is at the top of Radion, coming down the Camel Straight. Look at the run that Sanchez has got into Lecom. Ladamada very, very deep into Lecom then. Sanchez takes full advantage and...
But how did Alejandro stay on the track there? That was a massive hit.
Yeah. And it's at the part of the car where the rear end should spin around of Alejandro, not the front of David Ladamada. Yep. David come off track, come back on track. As he went deep himself, he caused the error.
Yeah, it's on him. I mean, too late on the brakes, comes back on the curb towards the track, almost or basically shunts into another driver. Lucky that Alejandro actually didn't spin.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We've been told that there was
no
a glitch on the end. No.
No.
So Dave goes deep at Lecom, look, very deep. He's off the track. He was over the white line, rejoins. Sanchez left room, not a lot of room, but left room. I suppose when you see somebody that wide at Lecom, you assume they're going over the corner instead of trying to rejoin mid-corner at a chicane. Lap 1 as well, when the rest of the
should have gone straight, really.
Yeah.
He knew he was late. He should have gone straight, give back the position, all good. Nothing happened, but yeah. In the end,
that cost him.
It cost him.
That cost him.
It cost him dearly. Still no championship points.
No. And was in a good position to score some championship points.
Yeah. And, it also states in the rules you're not allowed to, give up a race or end the race prematurely. Yeah. Only if you have a technical issue on your simulator. Maybe the wheel is off or whatever. Yeah. And the result is actually you're being banned from the next race. Because we have many drivers who want to race in the race league. Yeah. And they see that lap 1, they end the race. It's not fair.
No, exactly. Taking up a spot. One man who knows...
You're very privileged to be in the race league, actually. And just after lap 1, you end the race. It's in the rules, so sorry for Dave.
One man who knows all about penalties at Spa... You knew this was coming today.
Oh, man.
Fabio Vettiger, P19 with a penalty last year. Do you remember it?
I remember it clearly. Yeah, it was my fault. First lap, saw a gap that wasn't there. Things happen very quickly. So I obviously crashed into Mark Gosner, who is not here because he and his wife... have expected their second child, so congratulations to you, Mark. So I shunted into him, and that that was my race. So one of my worst races actually. But
Yeah.
enough from me. Let's go back to
the replays.
The race.
Here's Enrique Marignon then on Sinan de Mirbas. So Sinan, the car in front. Door opens coming in towards the chicane. Marignon up the inside and turns in, makes the apex. Good little move that. Oh.
Green car was Demi.
Sinan. Yeah.
Now the rejoin. He waits. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Hard one, that. Very hard one.
It's a tap from the back.
Yeah.
That's the difficult part. If you have a tap on the back and the driver in front, spins.
And for Marignon,
It's not really the driver's fault who is in the front. So.
No, yeah, exactly. And for Marignon, good pace, 9 overtakes he made in qualifying, 6 or 7 he made in the race. Just a shame he had that tap, otherwise he could have been fighting, for a podium.
Yeah, it was so tight. I mean, Sinan obviously didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But, race control have to do or look at the results of an incident, and the result here was clear that the driver in the front was spinning. So I actually expect the penalty for Sinan, but let's see what
happens.
Surprised.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Good comeback drive though from Marignon. He managed to finish P7 after being down by the back of the pack.
Oh, yeah.
After that
P7.
P7. So good comeback drive.
Yeah.
He made like 6 or 7 overtakes again. So he's overtook cars a lot today, and it's just a shame that because he could have really been fighting for a podium, and you then look at Marignon getting a third or second, and Ciro staying second or third.
Yeah.
I hope Sanchez had a lot in them championship points if he'd have beat Smeedle. So, shame for Marignon today.
Yeah, he had the pace, but it puts him in a better position for the Laguna Seca race, actually. So he will try to do it there. Did he win a race already this season?
Marignon has not won a race this season. Okay. No, this is Dominic Dedic on the right, Sebastian Hirsch on the left, coming to Eau Rouge. Yeah, that's not going to work, Dominic. Turned in.
I would be interested what Dominic would say to that, but we've seen it. I've seen it in the replay. There's no space where Hirsch can go to.
Yeah,
he's already on the curb with basically all 4 tires. So it's basically Dominic that turns in. The contact is there.
In that incident at Eau Rouge, because it's such a unique corner, with Hirsch being pretty much all over the curb, is that for Dominic to get out of the throttle and let Hirsch have that place for the time? Maybe then attack him up the Kemmel straight?
Yeah, I mean, possibly the best thing he should have done. But you know how it is as a driver. Yeah. If you're already side by side and Eau Rouge is coming up, you don't want to be the guy who pulls out. You want to be the tough guy.
It's like a game of chicken, isn't it? You want to be the one that hangs in there and stays there till the end. For Sebastian Hirsch, recovered to P10. So in terms of his battle with Marignon for that P4 spot, really, because we believe Angelo Mikel's going to keep hold of that P3.
Wait until after Laguna.
Let's see the results and after Laguna. But for Marignon, him 7th, Hirsch 10th. It's still points for both of them in this fight for what is probably going to be P4.
Most likely, yeah. But as I said, Laguna Seca is coming up. It's going to be chaos. You never know what's going to happen there. Maybe a guy from there is a guy from P4 or 5 will win the race. But what happened here with, this is the Mistretta.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, slam dunk penalty. No question about it.
Yeah.
That's a difficult section here because you play around with the throttle actually and not with the brake.
Yes.
So usually you're in your rhythm, how you do it obviously in time trials, etc. And then suddenly in the race, someone is lifting off earlier than you think, and potentially what happened here. But here's a guy in the back. Guy spins.
Mistretta just got overtaken, and all of a sudden,
unfortunately,
rear end gets hit for Mistretta. He was running in the points here. He was having that good fight with Kaufman then, and could have maybe got some more points in that race. Finished outside the top 10 for Horser. He also finished outside the top 10, so no points for him staying in that fight for 4th place with Marignon and Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
And if Palesny keeps hold of P4, he's kind of bringing himself into this top 4 fight.
Yeah.
Here is Christoph Holstein then, on a recovery drive with Florian Haase then. So this is on the outside at Blanchimont. Oh, Christoph misjudged that, turned in a bit too early, not left enough room.
Who, Christoph? There was actually no need to close the door like this because he had the pace anyway. So
did he feel
this is so marginal?
It's such a small.
Again, the amp plate.
Yeah,
but Florian was there and he why should he lift? It's a
exactly.
It's full throttle.
Exactly.
Right?
So do we feel that Christoph felt he got past Florian Horser to get the move done?
That's the thing with the mirrors, right? We only have one in the center, so you don't really see that. But you got to assume that the car is still there. Not sure what the race control decided there, but let's see at the final results.
I believe this is...
Yeah, this is final.
Yeah. So... nothing in our ears yet, but right, we've just been told this is now confirmed. Alejandro Sanchez, race winner. So that'll be race win number 2 for him this season. It is second place for Ciro Sambra, and then it will be third place for Michael Smeedel then. So win for Madrid, first win in their new racing lounge, but it's also, more importantly, 10 points clawed back for Sanchez in this championship.
Yeah, massive win for him to be back in the championship. Obviously, it could have been going either way today. But yeah, well done.
Well done to everybody. Smeedel takes the third step on the podium in Munich. And a good round of applause from the audience. P3 for Michael Smeedel today. There's a small smile there for that podium.
Konstantin again, the guy who shows the emotions.
Konstantin absolutely loves when a Munich driver gets on the podium there. We now head over to Kemptol, where there's a little bit of confetti that's
premature.
Yeah, a bit premature on falling from the balcony. As Ciro Sambra, there's even more confetti.
Not in bed on the podium, but in 1 hour definitely in bed recovering. So get well soon. Well done. Giving
him the trophy there, Ciro. Right, off to bed you go. Well done, Ciro. See you later. And here we are in Madrid. Everybody gathers around the podium. The Spanish flag is on now for the Madrid Racing Lounge, as it's Alejandro Sanchez, your race winner. It's a good job that that's not Smeedel or Polesny on that podium, because it would have chopped their head off with that camera.
Yeah, that was perfectly managed there.
Sanchez is just the right height to fit for the camera and the podium there. So well done to Alejandro Sanchez, Ciro Sambra and Michael Smeedel on the podium. Second race win of the season for Alejandro Sanchez. Third race win of the season for Madrid. So that's 3 race wins for Munich, 3 for Madrid, 2 for Kemptol. It's 2 wins for Smeedel, 2 wins for Sanchez. It is 15 points in the championship as we head to Laguna Seca, the 8th and 9th of December. Qualification period opens the 27th of November for the Challenge League, for the final Challenge League event you can qualify for this year. 8th and 9th of November, we go to Laguna Seca. Fabio, thank you once again for joining us in the studio. We'll see you in 3 weeks' time. From all of us, though, here at Racing Unleashed, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you at Laguna in 3 weeks. From all of us here, goodbye. Little wiggle there.
This is Racing Unleashed.